Text. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Will County Board meeting for February 20th, 2024. I'll call this meeting to order. Member Dean Schlaman will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and introduce the clergy.
Everyone, attention to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to introduce Pastor Nathaniel Troy Smith II. Pastor Smith is a native of Cleveland, Ohio, and has made a life here in Illinois, and we're thankful for that. Nathan serves as lead pastor of the table located in Joliet. His wife, Victoria, is a product owner for a tech company on the East Coast, and their children are Audrey, Nathan III, and Elijah. Nate, a former director of business intelligence with a background in IS, has served in ministry in a number of capacities for the past 15 years. He is most passionate about biblical application, marriage preparation, Christian discipline, coaching youth sports, and community engagement. In his role as lead pastor, Nate guides the staff and church in spiritual direction, strategy, and ministry development. He is a family man, mentor, coach, natural leader, passionate preacher, and enjoys all things, unfortunately for us here in Illinois, Cleveland sports. Pastor Smith.
I heard that. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. If I could share just a quick thought and open with a word of prayer. I read a good book a long time ago, and in it I found a story about a man who was called to lead over 600,000 people. And in that journey that took over 40 years for them to reach their destination, they were faced with all kinds of trouble and all kinds of turmoil. It was not an easy journey, but he was called to lead it. He went against many opposition. He led people who agreed with what he thought. He led people that went along for the ride. He also led people that frankly didn't really want to listen to what he had to say. But yet he did it. And it was hard work. But through his purpose, through his faith, it was bigger than he. And I want to share with you just the two simple thoughts. And that is, sometimes we're called to do hard things, but to lead is to be led. To make hard decisions are necessary, but it takes us a time to work together to get through those things. And in that story, he actually never even got to the promised place. And through all of that journey, it was not in vain. It was necessary because he led the next generation into the place that they were to go. So sometimes we gather in rooms like this, and it's necessary for us to do the hard work so that we leave it better than we found it. So that is my prayer for us today and my prayer for all of you. Join me. Dear God, we thank you for this day. We don't take lightly the responsibility that we have to come together, to care for this county, to make decisions, tough decisions, but to collectively work together for a larger purpose and a larger good. For the county of Will County will go on far and beyond our own existence, and it is our responsibility to take care of it. Be with us in this time. Allow us to focus on the big picture, but also we ask that you are in the details of every discussion and every decision. For this day is new, and you've given it to us. We thank you for it. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us. I'm going to come in and go right to work. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Jim Richmond. Roll call. Oh, didn't hear ya. Sorry. Williams? Dean Schlottman? Ogala? Pretzel? Butler? Newquist? Balich? Oxley? Brooks? Winfrey? Bullock? Logan? Freeman? Revis? Mitchell? Ortiz? Berkowitz? Hickey? Costa? Trainier? Van Dyne?
Present.
19.
19 members being present, we have a quorum. I need a motion to place on file the certificate of publication. Motion by Newquist, seconded by Winfrey. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond? Williams? Dean Schlottman? Ogala? Pretzel?
Yes.
Butler? Newquist? Balich? Oxley?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Winfrey? Bullock? Logan?
Yes.
Freeman? Revis?
Yes.
Mitchell? Ortiz? Berkowitz?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Costa? Trainier?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
18 in the affirmative, the motion carries. I now need a motion to approve the minutes from the December 19th board meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve the minutes from the December 19th board meeting? Do I have motion by Costa, seconded by Trainier? Is there a previous? Previous by Brooks, seconded by Freeman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the December, oops, wrong one, from the January 16th board meeting. Motion by Ogala, seconded by Dean Schlottman. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by Berkowitz. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. You, excuse me? We got you at that one, yeah. Madam Clerk, will you please acknowledge the elected officials and media present today?
We have County Executive Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuco, and Will County Clerk Annette Parker.
All right. We'll move on to public comment. We'll begin with public comments for today's agenda items only. If you have any public comments for today's agenda items, you can come forward now. Reminder, you have 3 minutes during public comment. Any public comments? All right. Thank you. We are going to move on to old business. All resolutions and ordinance from the January 16th, 2025 board meeting have been signed and returned. And with that, we will move on to new business. And today we have a presentation by our Veterans Assistance Commission of Will County. We're going to have Superintendent Jen Solom come up and present along with her team. And I believe there is a copy of a report at each of your tables, at each of your desks.
Not that tall. We all fit? Larry. Okay. Good morning, Madam Executive, County Board members, and fellow attendees. Thank you for the opportunity, bless you, to speak before you today. My name is Jen Solom, and I am the Superintendent of the Veterans Assistance Commission of Will County. Our mission, simply, is to protect, promote, and provide services to veterans as honorably and selflessly as they have done for us in the past. I am proud to stand before you today alongside with my dedicated team to present our 2024 Annual Governor's Report. I would also like to take a quick second to introduce my team. Please get to know them, look at their faces, remember them. You've probably seen them out in the community at events representing the constituents in your area. So please feel free to come up and talk to them anytime you see them. Ask them questions, get to know us. We are here to help you. We can go next. So I would like to start next, sorry. She's being very dramatic. So Eric Papanaugh, Assistant Superintendent, U.S. Marine Corps. Amy Benson, Senior VSO. Brandon Peterson, he's very busy skiing right now, but he is currently also in the Army Reserve. He's a Veteran Service Officer. Jeff Walsh, VSO, USAF. Get a little USAF in the house. Ms. Aria Scott in the middle here. She is also in the U.S. Army Reserve, and she is a Veteran Service Officer. Rosemarie Bitar, U.S. Army veteran. She's also a Veteran Service Officer. Joe Martin, Army, down in the, almost at the end there. He's our Peer Recovery Support Specialist. Sam Luco, Marine. She is our Mental Health Coordinator, also LCPC. Anna Lukasevich, she is actually back in our office right now holding down the fort. Jim Richards, he's retired Navy. He's our Transportation Officer. He's driving right now, veterans to their appointments. And as you can hear, Charlie, our King Khosrow, who is our emotional support dog down here whining. And then also Larry Shaver down at the end. He's our Commission President. He's a Vietnam veteran and a United States Marine Corps veteran. So this is the bread and butter of what we do. And I just wanted to make sure it's very important that they stand up here next to me because everything that we're going to discuss is a direct result of their hard work and dedication. Thank you. So this report is the VAC's pride and joy. It not only highlights the success and effectiveness of our programs, but it also helps us identify areas where we can improve or expand our services. And it is our moment to shine, a time to showcase the work we're doing, and to set future goals aligned with both county and state priorities. In accordance with 330 ILCS 45, also known as the Military and Veterans Assistance Act, in 2024, there were 22 veteran service posts in Will County that participated and comprised our commission. Every March, each post commander selects and appoints a delegate and an alternate to sit on our board to represent and advocate for the veterans in their community. This is essential for the function and the existence of the VAC. Will County has a very diverse population and demographic, and currently we have the third largest veteran population in the state behind Cook County and Lake County. We have just over 26,000 veterans in our communities. We could not do what we do without the support of the commission. With that being said, we have worked hard to set ourselves apart from other VACs across the state and to make our office as unique in its services as the veterans we serve. We believe in going above and beyond with our services and will never turn away a veteran who is seeking assistance. Mental health is one of our key focuses as we address the challenges veterans face during and after their service. It is crucial that we support their successful reintegration into civilian life. We have identified a significant gap in mental health services as not all veterans are eligible for VA healthcare. To bridge this gap, we've established a range of mental health services at the VAC, including the hiring of our mental health coordinator, Sam Luco, last March. Sam works closely with our peer recovery support specialist, Joe Martin, and the VA to address critical needs and build our mental health program. In addition to the recovery meetings that Joe holds weekly and our involvement in the Veterans Treatment Court, we also have counselors from the VA Orland Park Vet Center in our office who provide one-on-one counseling to combat an MST and also group counseling for Vietnam veterans. Also, last September, we collaborated with the Joliet Police Battle Buddy program to host our second annual and very successful Vet Fest. This is raising awareness about veteran suicide and prevention in the community. Our office also proudly stocks a food and sundry item pantry, solely dependent on donations, which includes everything from toothpaste and warm socks to nutritious food items like peanut butter, fresh meat, and eggs. We partner with Farm to Veteran, a local for-purpose organization that regularly donates fresh meat and eggs, making a real impact in the lives of our veterans through nutrition. Additionally, we provide financial assistance to Will County veterans and their dependents and surviving spouses who are eligible. This assistance includes help with the offset of rent and mortgage, utilities, and an Aldi gift card to help with the personal needs. Our veteran service officers are among the best. Of course, I'm going to brag, but they really are. All are accredited and required to maintain their accreditation and credentials through the VA's Office of General Counsel. We are proud members of the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers, also known as NACVSO, and hold ourselves to the highest standards of excellence and accountability. I am currently the state of Illinois delegate to NACVSO. I am also the female vet rep for the state. On the national level, I am also on the NACVSO membership committee. And our assistant superintendent, Eric, is our certified veteran advocate. Senior VSO Amy is currently in training for her CVA certification, has also recently become an education trainer with NACVSO and IAC VAC. Again, acronyms military, this is our national and our state associations. And then Eric also serves as the chaplain on our state board. This is important for me to really share because this goes to show our involvement in these organizations on both the state and the national level really affirms our commitment to excellence. We are involved with what is going on from the top down. As you know, rules and laws are always changing. And so to keep up on those and really educate ourselves so we can best advocate for our veterans to make sure that they are obtaining the benefits that they earned. So to expand our outreach, Eric and Jeff have recently taken on the monumental task and responsibility for revamping our community outreach and engagement program to introduce more veterans to our services and to obtain the benefits that they earned. Thanks to their efforts, we are proud to say that in 2023 and 2024, our office secured over $28 million in VA claims and financial assistance for our veterans and their dependents. That is $28 million that is brought back into Will County. So that is something that we really celebrate because that also helps the veterans. This will be monthly income that they're receiving, so it will help offset the cost of living for them. It helps provide our veterans who are on Social Security that extra little cushion that they might need as the cost of living increases and nothing, we're not really seeing the increase in living wages. So this has also helped our veterans get off of our financial assistance program as well. We are also the only VAC in the state of Illinois that hosts an IDVA officer, that's Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs, in our office. This helps to bridge the gap between county and state levels and what they can offer. We work very well with our federal and state partners and our stakeholders because we believe we all have the same mission. So it is very critical for our mission to collaborate with each other. Additionally, the VAC offers a transportation program to provide rides for veterans to medical appointments, whether at VA facilities or private medical centers. In 2024, we provided 295 round-trip rides for veterans to get to their appointments. Our vans are also used for food and donation pickups, and we will transport a veteran to the VAC for their appointment if needed. Transportation is one of the major barriers for veterans who are seeking care or other assistance. It is one of our top priorities to ensure that they are able to safely receive the care needed. In 2023, we welcomed, who you can hear down here, Charlie. She is currently a 2-year-old King Corso. She is our on-site emotional support dog. Charlie was donated to us from a breeder in Iowa. Out of every litter, she donates a pup to a veteran or to a veterans organization. So we were very, I feel most days fortunate to be gifted her, but is much of, well, we'll just say she brings joy to everybody. So, and honestly, she really has. If you've been out and about and you've seen us at some of our outreach events, you will see her. She is, I want to say, more of our mascot now too, and she's turned out to be really great, not only for staff members for emotional support sometimes, but again, for widows when they're coming in to file claims for their pension and they're coming in and they're crying. Charlie is really in tune with picking up on emotions and the needs, and she will come up right to you. We're still working on boundaries, even if she's not asked, but she, as you can see, she's starving for attention and clearly neglected. Long story short, Charlie has been a blessing for us, and we are grateful even when it's time to take her out to do her duty in the middle of the winter. She is an integral part of our team. So looking ahead to 2025, we're excited about our upcoming move to our much larger facility at 1300 Copperfield. This has been much anticipated, long waiting, and we are so excited. This will provide us the opportunity to not only expand our current services, but to also start new programs. Right now, I'm sure everybody's heard, we're a little limited with our space. We adapt and overcome, and we're doing great with what we have, but the potential for our growth in this larger space and capacity is just exponential. And I am really looking forward, hopefully this time next year, we can talk about if we've moved, how much we've expanded, and what this new space really is going to mean for us. And again, the veterans in our community that we are serving. One thing I'd really like to highlight, though, for the importance logistically, if you don't understand where this space is, it is right next to the VA Joliet CBOC, right over off of Eagle Street. So this will help eliminate having to send veterans across town here and there. It literally will be a one-stop shop. They will be able to walk from the clinic right over to us. Going back to the collaboration, working with the VA on the federal side, the doctors, I think they're probably the most excited because now they can send the veteran literally right next door to us. We can file their claim if they need to take a shower, use the food pantry, whatever their needs are that the VA is not able to fulfill, they walk right next door to us and we are right there. So again, going back to that barrier for transportation, we're eliminating that because they can just come right next door to us. As I begin my third year as superintendent, I want to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to speak to you today. Your unwavering support of veterans is truly appreciated. Together, we continue to make a positive impact and meaningful difference in their lives. If you or your constituents have any questions or would like to visit our office, open doors, please, we welcome you. We would be very happy to see you come into our office. As you can tell, I'd really like to brag on what we do and so you have a visual and see where, see us in action. So if there are any questions, I will break left. Other than that, you have a copy of our 2024 report, again, that goes into greater detail about our success for last year. And I'm looking forward to be able to build upon that for next year's report.
If you don't mind entertaining a few questions, we always have a few. All right, thank you. County Board Member Revis.
No question, just a comment. Just want to say thank you so much for all the work you guys do at the Will County VAC. It's very important that we put this country first and the people and the soldiers and the military personnel that put our country first as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
County Board Member Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I will echo Mark's words and not repeat them, but thank you, and welcome home. But I do have a question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know when I visited, you had said that you were in need of towels. Have you received any? Are you still in need?
We did receive towels, actually. And so where we're looking now more towards is we do have a shower in our office, and we've had to turn that into storage, going back to the space issue, which would not be an issue. So we no longer have our shower actually open. So the towels needed in-house, we don't. But where we do use them is for veterans who are coming in, where if they are homeless and getting their first apartment, or if there's an issue with laundry, or towels are always in demand, whether or not they're being used in our office or they're actually needed outside. So I will never turn a towel
Okay,
down. Sorry for
was-
that long-winded.
When you have a need,
answer.
please let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
And we will do what we can. I have been putting that word out there. so
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Member Dean Schlottman.
I just want to personally say thank you to all of you in there. As many of you know, I have been in there personally to receive services from all of you as a veteran myself.
Thank you.
And I know Eric did an amazing job and probably has the patience of a saint when he helped my father through everything that he needed as well through the Assistance Commission. So just as another, from one to another, when you say that commitment to excellence, it sounds like an Air Force thing, right? I just appreciate everything that you do for the veterans and will always continue to have my support.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
County Board Member Trenier.
Thank you all very, very much, from helping my father and all the way through our family to my daughter. They've all been members of the military. I just wanted to let you know the DuPage Township Food Pantry gets a plethora of items, all different kinds of things. We just got done giving away like 3,000 kitchen towels. If you need anything at all, from shoes
Yes.
to towels. We probably have it. If you reach out to the DuPage Township Food Pantry, I am sure they will assist.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's another great resource.
Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, member, or executive. Thank you for being here today, providing your presentation and your services and programs. This will be great to take back to our constituents. Very excited to hear about the upcoming Copperfield building. We'll be looking forward to seeing more information about that, perhaps in Capitol or in our county board meetings. And I also want to thank you for you working with and collaborating with the American Legion and the Legion Riders. It means a lot to them to continue to give back, to be a part of, recognizing and honoring our veterans, especially our homeless and the ones who have passed on. So thank you for that. It's a great build-up for the community to be able to always be there to support you and the people who need help. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, Superintendent Slalom, team, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun here. Well, I will say, so I don't say it again. I appreciate everything that you do. It's always nice to see you out in the community. Again, like we've heard here, it's always nice when I get to go around to different events and people talk to you, and it's always nice to hear compliments about our VAC. So thank you very much. I appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
Member Brooks, I'm sorry, I did not see your.
That's all right. Jennifer,
Yes, sir.
everything everybody else said, kudos for me too. Keep up the good work. However, you are moving on Comper Avenue. Right now, Gomper School is building a new facility there.
Yes.
There's a lot of construction going on. When do you guys plan to move in?
I'm going to defer that
Okay.
question.
It's going to depend on the county board.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
capital improvements will have
Okay.
that project, yeah.
You'll probably
Okay.
know before I do, so if you can let me know, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I just know I passed through there quite a bit, and
Yes,
the
sir.
school has a lot of mud, a lot of things going on over there now.
They'll find the mud for us, don't
Okay.
worry. Yeah.
Okay. Keep up the good work.
It's a lot's going on. It's very
Right.
exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Executive.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Stay warm.
You too.
Thanks.
So the members, and again, if you're on, it is Capital Improvement Committee, you'll know that the roof is going to start this spring, so. Madam Clerk, will you please add members Ortiz and Butler to the record? And with that, we are going to move on to Land Use Committee.
Madam Executive, before I move to open public hearing today, I'm going to be making a motion to remove the first item on the agenda from the agenda, which is zoning case ZC 24025. The reason for that is the petitioner has withdrawn this application. For those of you that may be here to speak during public comment on this, this is the large solar project south of Smiley Road, east of Essex, north of southern boundary of Will County, of County Line Road along both sides of Old Hughes Road. So if we remove this from the agenda, you'll no longer be able to talk about it during public comment. I just want to make that clear. So I make that motion to remove this from the agenda.
All right. All right. We have a motion to remove case ZC 24025. It is seconded by, was that member Dean Schlotman? That was a very enthusiastic. Is there a previous? Previous by Van Dyne, seconded by Newquist. All in favor?
Aye.
I did it right, yes. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And just,
Yeah.
thank you all. Okay, so now I would like to make a motion to open public hearing for all land use cases.
Motion by Pretzel to open the public hearing for all land use cases, seconded by Dean Schlotman. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams.
Yes?
Yes.
With 20 in the affirmative, we are now in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. Do you have something to say?
Yeah,
before
did I screw
I'm
that up?
sorry.
Were we supposed to vote to remove this from the agenda first?
I was told we could do it when you did it. I verified that. You did it
Okay.
fine, yeah. Mhm. So we are now in public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on any of the other cases that we have before us today? Is there anyone here to speak? Oh, there we go, yep.
Will County Board, Mike Martin, on behalf of the applicant on case number ZZ 24-116. I'm really just here to stand up and ask if the board had any questions. I have my owner here with me. This is a pretty straightforward case. My client is seeking to maintain his A1 zoning and requesting a special use to expand his landscape supply business. Part of the approvals, what we're looking to do is to actually make a more designated mulch yard, and then make it more decorative, attractive entranceway where we can actually display the materials that we're selling. Again, if you have any questions, we did get favorable unanimous approval at the Plan Commission and Land Use Committee. But again, if you have any questions, we're here willing to answer them. Thank you. You.
Good morning. Nathaniel Washburn with KGG LLC. I'm here to represent the applicants in ZC 24, I believe it's 104, and ZC 24057. Both received unanimous votes of approval from land use. We would ask that the full county board support land use's decision, and I'm here to answer any questions if anybody has any. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ivan Stanila. I'm the applicant and one of the owners of Vanesh LLC for a variance application ZC 24080. And I'm here to answer questions if will be any.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Picked a good day to come. It's a quiet one. Thank you. All right, anyone else for public comment? No, okay. Good, all right. They gave me the no, they gave me that they're not coming to talk. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Member Pretzel.
Thank you, Madam Executive. Okay, now first on the agenda, zoning.
Oh, we got to
case-
close the public hearing.
Oh, I would like to make a motion to close public hearing.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Revis. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman. Ogala.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist.
Yes.
Balich.
Yes.
Oxley.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yeah.
Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Den. 20.
All right. 20 in the affirmative, the public hearing is now closed. Oh, 21 in the affirmative, the public hearing is now closed. Chair Pretzel.
Thank you again. First up, zoning case ZC 24080 2433 Vanesh LLC, owner of record, requesting a special use permit for an accessory dwelling unit for security, a variance for maximum accessory dwelling unit area from 650 square feet to 2,164 square feet in Joliet Township, commonly known as 2433 Vanesh, Plainfield, Illinois, County Board District Number 7. Land Use and Development voted 7-0, approving with 4 conditions the special use permit. And PZC also voted 7-0, therefore approving with 4 conditions for special use permit and the variance, and I so move.
Motion by, hold on a second, real quick, if you don't mind. I'm going to make sure I'm on the same page here. So we have a motion by Pretzel, seconded by Revis. Any discussion? County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So my question about this is just, so this is a variance, or this is an ADU, and it's for security, which I'm assuming is a residential type of security. They will be staying there overnight. I guess, does staff have a response to that question?
So this is an existing, say, apartment above the business. They're just trying to get into compliance. It's a new
Right.
owner and they're trying.
Right, and my question is, you know, for, if it's an industrial site, which I believe it is our policy to allow security over residential security at our industrial sites? Because I was under the impression, you know, we didn't really allow that,
think that's why
especially in
we're
our
here
industrial parks.
I don't think we'd be voting on it if it wasn't allowed, so that's,
Well,
yeah,
Is staff here? Can they-
okay.
Yeah.
Is staff here to? Let me see.
Good morning, Brian Radner from the Land Use Department. To the question regarding is the residence for security purposes allowed? Yes, the county board voted to change the zoning code to allow that probably about a decade ago. So yes, it is.
So is Brian, just to be specific, so is this an industrial site?
Von Esch Road on the east side is a residential neighborhood. Von Esch Road on the west side is mainly industrial and it borders I-55. So these are industrial uses that have existed probably since the 60s and 70s. I'm not sure how long for this exact property, but this residential use in this building has been occurring for a long time. And right now the owner is just trying to bring it into compliance with the zoning code.
Okay. I bring this up only because there have been situations where we've been told that you're not allowed to live in an industrial site. So this is going in the
the on-
opposite direction, so.
I mean, correct. I mean, by right, you're not allowed to live in a zoning, industrial zoning classification, but that's why it's here as a special use request and the board can determine if they think it's appropriate or not.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think I see any other discussion. Would we like a roll call? We can do a previous roll call by Balich.
Second.
Seconded by Logan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, zoning case ZC 24093, Chicago Title Land Trust Company, owner of record, requesting a special use permit for construction, sales, and services, a variance for minimum lot area from 10 acres to 9.41 acres. This one's in Joliet Township, commonly known as 17832 Mills Road, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District Number 6. Land Use and Development and PZC both voted 7-0, therefore approving. And I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by, I think Winfrey. Previous roll call by Balich, seconded by Freeman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is zoning case ZC 24104, John Thompson, owner of record, requesting a map amendment from R4 to C3, a variance for minimum street setback from 100 feet to 30 feet, a variance for minimum rear setback from 20 feet to 10 feet, and a variance for minimum street setback from 100 feet to 30 feet in Lockport Township, commonly known as vacant State Street, Lockport, Illinois, County Board District Number 5. Land Use and Development and PZC both voted 7-0, therefore approving the map amendment, and PZC also voted 7-0, approving all three variances, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Oxley. Previous roll call by Costa, seconded by Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda, zoning case ZC 24116, Hively Enterprises LLC, owner of record, requesting a special use permit for landscape and lawn maintenance business in Plainfield Township, commonly known as 26049 West Lockport Street, and vacant land along West Lockport Street, Plainfield, Illinois, County Board District Number 8. Land Use and Development voted 7-0, approving with 4 conditions, and PZC voted 6-0, approving with 4 conditions, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Revis. Previous roll call by Freeman. Seconded by Balaj. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda, 25-20, authorizing a first extension of special use permit for zoning case ZC 22066, Prairie Solar LLC, care of Trajectory Energy Partners, requesting an extension in Peatone Township, commonly known as vacant property on West Kennedy Road, Peatone, Illinois, County Board District Number 2. Land Use and Development voted 7-0, approving the first extension, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Trinier, seconded by Berkowitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda, 25-21, authorizing a second extension, extension SCXT 25002, of special use permit for zoning case ZC 22038, TTA Corp., owner of record. This one's in Joliet Township, commonly known as 1601 New Lenox Road, Joliet, Illinois, County Board District Number 6. Land Use and Development voted 7-0, approving the second extension request, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call by Brooks. Seconded by Trinier. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
25-22, overturning the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission and approving appeal number 24-003 for zoning case ZC 24057. Applicant Tyler Hannany, owner of record in Wesley Township, commonly known as 19309 West Mantino Road, Custer Park, Illinois, County Board District Number 1. Land Use and Development voted 7-0, approving with 4 conditions. PZC voted also 7-0, approving with 4 conditions for special use permit, and 7-0 for the variance, therefore approving, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Van Dyne. Previous roll call by Balaj, seconded by Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes my report. The next Land Use Committee meeting is scheduled for March 6th, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Finance Committee, Chair Newquist.
Good morning, everybody. We have 4 items that have been combined into a consent agenda. So I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Right, I see your county board member, Ogala. Would you
Right.
like to remove any of these?
So my question is this, number one, if we could have our state's attorney look at our county board rules, page 22, section 315, as it reads, a report or resolution shall be placed on the consent agenda under new business for each standing committee. I don't know why we're humming. Under committee reports and resolutions, if the standing committee passes a motion to approve by unanimous vote of county board members present. I don't remember this happening. I don't remember us doing this properly. A unanimous vote on the motion is a vote to vote with no member voting no. Items on the consent agenda shall be enacted under a single vote. I'm not opposed to consent agendas. I just don't think that these committees voted for the consent agenda at their committee. I was there, I listened in. I don't ever remember a vote. I remember them voting on each individual item, and that was it.
That is correct. We did not vote on a consent agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm reviewing it right now.
No, that is not how it reads. Read it. Just read it.
Do we need to go through these or?
If the committee passes a motion to approve right hands voted. Consent agenda.
Do we just
That's not what it reads.
Next step.
That, and they didn't. Probably needs to be added to the agenda.
While they're discussed, we're not going to move on, but do you have would you like one of these removed? Oh, you have this, okay, hold on a minute. Let me figure out. There you are. Go ahead.
Thank
Member
you, Madam
Berkowitz.
Executive. So not only did we not discuss a consent agenda, and which I think our financial reports, they ought to be discussed, especially at committee, and they were not. There is nothing attached to this agenda to even refer to. We get an agenda item with nothing attached, nothing to read, nothing to review. It says Will County action item printout. I don't know what that means, because when you click on it, it has nothing in it with the exception of some numbers on the Illinois Department of Revenue sales tax. That's one item. The second item says Will County Monthly Treasurer Report from the Will County Treasurer, Tim Brophy, dated November 30th, 2024. So this report from Treasurer Tim Brophy is mentioned. It's placed on file. However, it was not presented at committee. And I know for a fact because I indicated at committee that I wanted to start seeing our elected officials coming back to the board and presenting their reports. Our treasurer's office has not been doing that as far as I recall. And I don't recall getting a report dated November 30th from Treasurer Brophy. And now it's on our agenda under a consent item. It's an action item printout, whatever that means, and there's nothing to read. So I don't know how we can push these things through.
Thank you.
So if there is a treasurer's report dated November 30th, where is it?
Yeah, I don't make up those agendas. And again, during committee, I'm sure those are great questions to ask if you, and again,
We did.
I think this is.
We had
what-
that conversation.
You need to follow up and invite the treasurer to come to your meeting. Yeah. From what I'm understanding, this is the procedure we've been having for a long time. We're just following through. And if there's changes you make, it has to come from the board. So please let them know at the county board meeting, probably not the best time to do if you feel like you're missing and you're not hearing reports. Please make sure your staff knows and have them to go to the committee. So are we?
No, I guess
do
the
we have a
question
rule-
is how do
yes.
we address this?
I would address it with your speaker and your leadership. Yeah. Like I said, this is a procedural thing we've been doing for years. And if you want to change that,
Well-
obviously it could absolutely go to the board to have the process change and how you'd like to
Well,
do
the
it.
state's attorney will have to address the fact.
Or he has
that
another question.
it-
Yeah,
it
we're
is
asking,
referred to.
we're going to follow up to hear a result of what Member Ogall's question was.
So to address the first question, the way I'm interpreting it is that there doesn't have to be a motion to put it on a consent agenda. It's that the committee members that were there voted unanimously, it automatically goes to a consent agenda. But it does sound like that Member Berkowitz does not want these items to be a part of a consent agenda, so they're therefore removed. It just takes the vote of one. So essentially, if that is the will of Member Berkowitz, the consent agenda can be removed right now.
And so you would prefer us to go through these individually? That's all? Okay, that's all you need. All right. Chair Newquist.
Okay, here we go. Number one, 25-23, authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents for delinquent tax program, and I so move.
Motion by Newquist, seconded by Hickey. Is there discussion? County Board Member Berkowitz? Oh, did you have a question? Oh, okay. No. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Costa. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Number two, 25-24, transferring appropriations within various county budgets for fiscal year 24 year-end budget transfers, and I so move.
Motion by Newquist, seconded by Trenier. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number three, 25-25, transferring appropriations within various county budgets for fiscal year 25 budget transfers, and I so move.
Motion by Newquist, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Trenier, seconded by Costa. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number four, 25-26, appropriating sponsorship funds and workforce services budget, and I so move.
Motion by Newquist, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call by Trenier, seconded by Hickey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And last, there is one monthly financial report to be placed on file. I so move.
Motion by Newquist, seconded by O'Gala. Discussion. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So this item refers to a treasurer's report.
Point of order.
Okay. Okay, hold on. We'll hold. Yes.
There is no item number 5. These are just forms to be placed on file. We don't vote on this.
Well, actually, we do, I thought.
Well, then somebody made a boo-boo and that's okay, but there's no
Okay.
number 5.
All right. I don't have a number 5 either, but I'm just reading. So I think we have done a monthly, I do believe we've done this we're just putting a monthly report on file. I believe we've done it every time. So we're going to just continue. So we have a motion by Newquist. We have a second. County and Board Member Berkowitz, please continue with your question.
Thank you. So it refers to a report we don't have from Treasurer Brophy dated November 30th, when it doesn't, it's not on my agenda. Where is it?
It's right here.
Number 2. Right, what does that say?
That's the report right above it. Report from the Illinois. Shut up.
So then we must have to go back to committee, pull up the previous treasurer reports that actually talked about the money in the county, where it's invested. That's a complete report. This is not what I'm expecting. So if we need to go back to committee to determine what it needs to be, then so be it. But to me, I looked at that those are 2 separate items. But that is the treasurer's report?
It's my understanding that's the report for that month that we have available to us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment? Okay, Madam Clerk, please, we have a previous, or would you like to vote on that? Oh, I'm sorry, County Board Member Butler. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You're on.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item until after the relevant information is provided. I mean, it seems like a.
We have a motion to postpone by Butler, seconded by Revis. Any discussion on the postponement? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond? Williams? Dean Schlottman? O'Gala? Pretzel? Butler? Newquist?
No.
Balich? Oxley? Brooks? Winfrey? Bullock? Logan? Freeman? Revis? Ortiz? Berkowitz? Hickey?
No.
Costa? Trainier? Van Dyne? Ortiz, I think 21.
11 noes.
Yep.
Oh, 11 yeses.
6, 7, 8, 10, 11.
With 11 in the affirmative, the motion is postponed. Correct? All right. Moving on. That was
11 times 10.
Chair Newquist.
Okay, thank you. That's it for today. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Works and Transportation, Trainier, or Chair Trainier. Rhymes.
Good morning, Madam Executive and fellow county board members. Everything in our committee passed unanimously. Do we have any questions about approving this consent agenda?
We have some comments, and we're going to ask County Board Member, does anyone like anything removed? And we will go with Member Ogala.
Thank you. I would like items 1 through 6 removed from the consent agenda, please. I believe that we really need to clarify the consent agenda. Again, if you read the rule as it is stated, a report or resolution shall be placed on the consent agenda under new business for each standing committee, under committee reports and resolutions, if the standing committee passes a motion to approve by unanimous vote of county board members present. This needs to be clarified. The wording needs to be more clear as to if, when, and what happens. It isn't clear. That committee did not vote. The committee did not vote on this. I was there.
Happy to move along, Madam Executive. Item number 1, 20.
Do you have a comment, Speaker Van Dyne, or would you like, okay.
I do. This is just another example of not trusting what the state's attorney's opinion is. So let's continue.
All right, thank you. Chair Trainier.
Item number 1, 25-27, confirming award of contract to Marking Specialists Corporation, $199,000. Let on January 15th, 2025, countywide reflective pavement markings, all county board districts, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Trainier, seconded by Freeman. No, we don't need a previous. Is there a discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond? Williams? Dean Schlottman? Ogala? Pretzel? Butler? Newquist? Balich? Exley? Brooks? Winfrey? Bullock? Logan? Freeman? Revis? Ortiz? Hickey? Costa? Trainier?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
21 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Item number 2, 25-28, authorizing the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Plainfield, the County of Will, for maintenance and energy of a traffic signal at the intersection of Renwick Road, County Highway 36, and Boulevard Place in the County of Will, County Board District Number 8, and I so move.
Freeman.
Motion by Trainier, seconded by Revis. Is there previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by Brooks? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3, 25-29, rescinding resolution number 24-304 and authorizing approval of a Metra agreement to pay design and engineering costs associated with the at-grade railroad crossing improvements on Gauger Road, County Highway 52, north of US Route 30, Section 19-00154-18-PV, County Board Districts 2 and number 5, and I so move.
Motion by Trainier, seconded by Pretzel. Oh, I'm sorry. Discussion?
Thank you. Oh, is Jeff here today or any of? Oh, there you are. I was just wondering, why are we rescinding this resolution, Jeff, if you could let us know?
morning, everyone.
Morning.
The Metro resolution that was passed previously, no issue with that, other than Metro came back a month or so later saying, actually, we use a different format now. So now they wanted this newer format. Our commitments have not changed whatsoever, the same dollar amounts. State's attorney reviewed the changes and found no issue with it. That's how it transpired.
All right, thank you. I was wondering. Thank you, Jeff.
We have a motion, there's second. Is there a previous? Previous by Hickey, seconded by Winfrey. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 4, 25-30, confirming award of contract to Van Mack Electric Company, $1,609,999, led on January 15, 2025, Weber Road, County Highway 88, from Lily Cache to Root Street. Traffic signal modernization, County Board Districts number 5, number 9, and number 11. And just for the record, before I say I should so move, this is a modernization problem that allows them to control the signaling from an office rather than having to send someone out to investigate and then issuing a work order to make the correction. This is a process improvement program. It will save time, it will save money, and I so move.
Second, Freeman.
Motion by Trinier, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Hickey, seconded by Dean Schlottman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, 25-31, authorizing approval of the establishment of an extended speed zone 622 along Cherry Hill Road, County Highway 86, County Board Districts 2 and 6, and I so move.
Motion by Trinier, seconded by Pretzel. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 6, 25-32, rescinding resolution number 24-180 and authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement providing for membership in the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network, and I so move.
Motion by Trinier, seconded by Costa. County Board Member Berkowitz. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So I was wondering if, I guess, would it be Jeff could tell us a little bit about this program and answer a couple questions? And this is for the IPWMAN Intergovernment Agreement.
Yeah. Where'd he go? Yeah. Yeah, sorry, can you repeat the question for Member Berkowitz?
Sure. Okay, so Jeff, could you tell us a little bit about this intergovernmental agreement, the purpose and what is Will County government's role in it?
We're talking about the IPWMAN agreement, is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Illinois Public Works.
Yeah, if in case of emergencies, this agency will have a network of all the agencies that are members. And if someone needs help, they put out a big request, and then those in the area who wish to help can send support and related to equipment or labor. So it's kind of a mutual aid agreement for when emergencies happen, mostly related to roadway incidents. So if we need help with something along a roadway, they send equipment to help out. We had just started, last year was the first time we joined. And so with this agreement, they changed their, I can't remember the word, some of their stuff in their agreement. They changed their form, kind of not exactly like Metro, but kind of like Metro. They changed their form. So now all the members have to update to this agreement, and that's what we're doing here.
So we're not a leader, we're just a member?
We are just a member.
Okay, so is there a cost to county government to be in this program?
There is an annual fee. It's minimal. I'd have to look it up. I'd say it's 500 or less. I don't know the exact number.
Okay, and then it mentions that there's a board of directors and a board member. Is there a board of directors and then a county board member on this?
No.
No, okay. And I'm sure I can Google to find out who the board of directors are, but.
They have a
is that-
website, yes.
Okay, is anyone from county government on that board?
No.
No? Okay. Do you think we might want to consider that or just topic for later? You don't have to
I know the
answer
village
that
of
question.
Romeoville has representation, might even be the president. So
Okay.
someone in Will County is involved, but not Will County government itself.
And how many counties are in this agreement? Do you know?
I do not.
Okay. And then last question, they refer to insurance. Each member should be insured. So I'm assuming that would be a cost as well, in addition to the membership. But do we have specific insurance for this partnership?
Our existing insurance levels satisfy that.
Okay,
Nothing
great.
new.
Thank you. I appreciate the information.
Still a previous member Ogala, previous by Ogala. Is there a second of previous? Second by Trinier, all in favor? Oh, you can't do that. You made the motion, sorry. Second by Freeman, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Our next Public Works and Transportation meeting is scheduled for March 4th, and I invite all county board members to attend and ask vigorous questions. Thank you.
Moving on to Public Health and Public Safety, Chair Butler.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Public Health and Safety has no items to move forward at this time. Just wanted to mention that we did go on a tour of the Health Department. It was very informative. I think a lot of the people that went appreciated the energy and the passion that all the people, the different departments have for what they do. So with that being said, our next scheduled meeting is for Thursday, March 6th.
Thank you. Chair Ortiz, Legislative Committee.
Thank you, Madam Executive. At this time, we have nothing to bring forward. Our next meeting is going to be scheduled for Tuesday, March 4th, 2025.
Thank you. Chair Freeman, Capital Improvements.
We had no resolutions to bring forward.
Thank you. Chair Dean Schlotman, Landfill Committee.
Good morning, Madam Executive. This time there is nothing to bring forward for the landfill. Just would like to mention going forward, if other county board members would like to join, I'm hoping that in the coming months, we as a committee decide what type of reports it is that we are looking to consistently get from the landfill. And I would like all input from all county board members. So our next meeting is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025.
Thank you. Speaker Van Dyne, and I assume we're just going to go through these. Let's just, are you going to?
Good morning, Madam Executive, and good morning to the board members present and also the members of the public. I have items listed 1 through 6. I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda from items 1 through 6.
Does anyone like anything removed? County Board Member Ogala.
Thank you. I will read this again.
Well, that's,
No, I'm going to read it again.
can you just say you want them removed?
Jennifer,
You can just, all you have to do is say you want them removed.
I can read
Because
this again.
that's also in the rules. Okay.
A report or resolution shall be placed on the consent agenda under new business for each standing committee under committee reports and resolutions if the standing committee passes a motion to approve by unanimous vote of the county board members present. That did not happen. Keep that in mind. And yes, I would like items 1 through 6 removed from the consent agenda. Thank you.
All right, so we are going now to item number 1, County Board Member, unless anyone has a question on procedure, we're going to go to item number 1, County Board, our Speaker, Van Dyne.
Number 1, Resolution 25-33, authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Lamont Fire Protection District to provide access to the countywide radio system, and I will make that motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Pretzel. Discussion, County Board Member Ogala.
Thank you. So here's the thing with the consent agenda. I think it's fine for like items.
Do you want to talk about this item?
I'm going to talk about this item.
Okay,
Jennifer, please
thank
stop interrupting me when I'm
No, I'm
speaking.
just
Thank you.
making sure that you are focused on this,
I
right?
am 100%
Okay, well, you mentioned consent
focused.
agenda again. We've closed that, now we're
I
on
am
this.
focused on this.
Right.
Okay. So consent agendas should report like items so that we could just say, a lot of times we approve Lamont, we approve Crete, we approve New Lenox, we do Wilmington, we do a bunch of them, access to the countywide radio system. That makes sense to do a consent agenda and to mention all the cities so that the public is aware of it. If they're listening to it, they don't have to have access to the agenda and then click in to see what we're talking about. A consent agenda, if anyone's listening to this, hides that information. I think we need to be transparent to our constituents and read the information out loud, even if we all vote yes to support it, because we've had the discussion in the committees to do that. So this would be an item that would make sense if there were 3 others on it for a consent agenda, or items 2, 3, and 4, which are very much the same. That could be because it's 3 for the same type of thing. But you give the opportunity to explain to the public why this is happening.
Do you have a question on this
We have-
particular
we-
intergovernmental agreement?
I am.
Do you have a
speaking.
question on this intergovernmental agreement? This is what we're on now.
I understand that.
All right.
So that would make sense for us to do that. There's a time and place that we need to say these things, Jennifer,
And that's
because it
fine.
makes sense.
We were talking about the consent
It
agenda when you
makes
gave your
sense.
speech. We did it. So I'm asking you if you have a question on this
I
intergovernmental
read the
agreement.
county board rules, didn't
that's
give a
perfect.
speech.
I'm
So
gonna
that
encour-
is just my statement. I'm allowed to make a
You are,
statement
I'm
on this
asking you if you have a
issue.
question regarding this intergovernmental agreement.
I don't have to have a question. I can make a statement. I am done now. Thank you.
So anyone else have a question regarding this intergovernmental agreement? I'm going to encourage, I'm going to hold off on that. County Board Member Berkowitz. You have a question on the intergovernmental agreement?
Madam Executive, I have a question regarding number 5. I'm not.
We're
sure
not
which
there
one
yet.
of you
We are at number 1. We are talking about the,
Number 1.
yeah, we're on number 1. So we have a
Thank you.
motion, we have a second. Is there I can't remember, we have a previous on this one? Previous on Brooks, seconded by Trinier. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Do I skip to number 5 or do I continue to
You
number 2?
continue to go, you continue.
Thank you. Number 2 on our agenda, Resolution 25-34, amending Liquor Control Ordinance, Chapter 110, Code of Ordinances, increasing Class C1 license for Sant Ann Oil Corporation located at 1601 New Lenox Road, Joliet. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Pretzel. County Board Member O'Gala.
Thank you. Can I have clarification as to what a C1 license is, please?
C is gas stations.
Gas stations?
Mhm. Package like, yeah. Previous by Winfrey, seconded by Ballage. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, Resolution 25-35, amending Liquor Control Ordinance, Chapter 110, Code of Ordinances, requesting that 110-023 of the liquor ordinance be amended to increase the total number of available Class AG liquor licenses for Misty Hill Vineyard located at 36-921 Old Hughes Road, Custer Park, Illinois, 60481. I would like to make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Dean Schlamman, County Board Member O'Gala.
Thank you. I'm glad that we came up and created the liquor license for the AG for our agritourism. That was something we allowed agritourism for the vineyard, to allow them to have tours and everything, but we didn't allow them to have a tasting room or the ability to purchase products that they sell, that they make there. You couldn't purchase it from there. Many of us go out of state or even into other counties and take tours, and you're able to do that. So I'm glad Will County is caught up. Thank you.
Previous roll call by Winfrey, second by Trinier. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 4, Resolution 25-36, amending Liquor Control Ordinance, Chapter 110, Code of Ordinances, requesting that 110-023 of the liquor ordinance be amended to increase the total number of available Class A1 liquor licenses. The applicant from the restaurant Los Canteros Incorporated, located at 23956 South Route 53 in Elwood, 60421. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Pretzel. Previous roll call by Winfrey. I heard something over here. Seconded by Oxley. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 5, Resolution 25-37, amending the Will County CPACE Ordinance, Section 3, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Brooks. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you. I just wanted a little more information about this program. I'm not-
I don't know if we have someone from, there he goes, Dave Harkey's coming out. I can give you a very generic response, but I will let Bree do that. Brianna.
Good morning, Committee Member Berkowitz. I will defer this to Brianna Moore. She's the expert of this program.
Hi, good morning. The question was just a general overview of what the program is. We originally established this program in Will County in 2020. It essentially makes financing available to commercial property owners within our county if they want to complete energy efficiency, renewable energy, resiliency types of projects on their properties. They can receive that funding from private capital providers that have been vetted through our program. And they repay that loan over a long period of time, usually the lifetime of the project, but up to 30 years through their property tax bill that they pay twice a year. So it's just another method that's available to our business owners if they have trouble of covering the upfront costs for those kinds of projects. Just makes it a little bit easier for them to get those kinds of projects done, to see energy savings and cost savings from those projects sooner rather than later, and then to pay for those projects over a long period of time.
Thank you. I appreciate that information. Is there any cost to the county to provide this program?
No, the county doesn't pay into it. We do have a program administrator, currently the Illinois Energy Conservation Authority, so they handle a lot of the administrative sides of things, and they receive their payment through the running of the program. So the county doesn't pay them a fee or anything for their work.
And how do we share this information with our business community, like especially in our industrial parks and
Yeah, we do have a page on our Will County website that outlines a lot of the program. Our program administrator also has a site where they share that information. I've personally talked with a few business owners that have had specific questions on it and been able to share that way. Our administrator also shares that kind of information. We could do more outreach along those lines, but I think that's just about what we've done so far.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all your efforts to help our business owners in the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
County Board Member Butler.
Okay, and I'm not sure this question is for you. I just needed some clarifications on a few things here. So where it says the Illinois Energy Conservation Authority, where is that out of? Is that a Will County? That's for the whole state?
Yes, they serve other CPACE programs, so like DuPage, Cook, Kane. There are a lot of counties around Illinois that.
And when we make these agreements, are we making it with a committee? Or
Yes.
just an administrator?
Yes, we did go through a bid process, and the board voted to approve the selection of our administrator. That's also coming up in the next few months. So
When you use the word board, be more specific.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about the Illinois Energy Conservation Authority. Like, who do we deal with there? Is that a administrator or a board?
They are our administrator. They're not a board themselves, but they are people that we work with to administer the program.
And then I just had one legal question. When it says the county is authorized to enter into a written administrative service agreement with another program administrator if it deems fit for services after the expiration or cancellation of an agreement with a program administrator. So in layman's terms, is that just saying that it doesn't have to go back before the board to be approved?
No, what's being amended here, or the reason that the language is being put in there is so that when the current bid runs out, they can enter into a new one that'll be competitively procured through the bidding process. So it gives it's an out to make sure that we can get to the next, if it is another agency that's going to be the administrator, that's what that's saying. So the ordinance or the bid results will still come before the county board.
It still comes before the board.
Correct.
for
This
approval.
is just an out to make sure that it's not to remove any control from you, it's to remove the argument that they have to be the administrator in perpetuity. So you will still see the bid results, and that will be approved by the board.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, do you have another, go ahead, County Board Member.
A question. So Kevin, we don't see any bid results. We don't see them. Why will we see them now for this?
You do approve the vendors though. When you award contracts. Oh, you're right, since the change. So no, it will come through the county. I take that back. There has been a change.
Thank you.
Yep. Previously, you did approve, that is my mistake.
So just to be clear, are you changing the answer you gave me? Okay,
Sorry, I'm green again.
that's all I wanted to know.
Yes.
All right,
that
thank
was-
you.
I'm sorry, that was based on how the law used to be. That was after the law.
And to clarify, that it was always in our ordinance. All right, with that, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any other discussion? Would you like a roll call vote on this, sir? You have another question? We're still in discussion. Are you continuing with this one? We're on the same one? You have another question? Why'd you stop talking then?
Well, I don't have a question. I have a discussion for this.
We're in discussion right now.
Yeah,
Okay, continue.
okay.
You said you were done, so I guess.
Well, I wanted to clarify what I was reading before I made a comment. So on this particular item, I don't like that it doesn't have to come back before the board. I think there's a lot of things that go on at the county that the board should be overseeing, and there should be making policy decisions. But for some reason, we don't. And maybe we choose not to. I don't know. I don't. I choose to always take the responsibility to contribute to any policies that are being made. So I'm going to be a no.
County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I'd like to ask my fellow board members to consider sending this ordinance back to committee and then putting that requirement back in there, that these proposals would come before the county board, which I believe would probably be finance.
This isn't an ordinance, just so you know. This is a contract to work with this agency to provide these businesses. So it's not an ordinance.
Okay, it just says Will County CPACE Ordinance, Section 3 Amendment.
I'm sorry.
So I'm recommending we send that item back and then put that chain of command in there, just for increased transparency and input from the board.
So would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we send that back to, I believe that would be the ordinance committee that's functioning right now, or?
It was in executive.
Executive, okay, then. Why was it in an executive?
I don't know. I don't do that.
Okay. So I guess I have a question why it was in executive.
The speaker can make a decision where it is, Julie.
Okay, so hold on a second. We're going to let the,
Sir, I just asked a
that's fine.
question.
Yeah, hold on. We're going to let
and
the,
I
hold on before
appreciate
you
that.
can even see if it'll, we're going to let the state attorney address this.
Well, there is no question to me. If you want to make the motion to send it back, I don't know whether your suggestion will survive. What you're suggesting to the executive committee, we will have to look into that, whether that would be legally possible. But there is nothing stopping you from sending it back.
Correct.
As a matter of course, that if you want to make that motion, it's been made, that's perfectly acceptable.
So please, so that we're very clear, please make your motion again so that the clerk's office has it.
So I'll make a motion to send this item back to the executive committee so they can discuss the putting in a step in the process to come before the county board to review the, is it RFP or RF?
All right. Well, how about we just go, we have a motion to return it to executive committee and you can define what you want there. So a motion to return it to executive committee. Is there a second? Seconded by O'Gala. Is there any discussion on sending it back to committee? Executive committee. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman. O'Gala. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz.
You're making it to return it back to executive committee, the amending the Will County CPACE ordinance.
Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne.
With 11 in the negative, the motion fails. So we're back to the original ones. We have a motion and we have a second. And we're going to continue with we will have a fresh roll call. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman. O'Gala. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne. 13, yes.
With 13 in the affirmative, the motion carries. Speaker Van Dyne.
Thank you. Number 6, Resolution 25-38, declaring various equipment surplus and authorizing disposal. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by O'Gala. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Williams. Dean Schlottman. O'Gala. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne.
Yes.
21 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Resolution 25-39, amending the county board rules regarding the reading of public comment letters. And if I may, I would like to make a motion and make a comment.
Motion by Van Dyne. There's seconded by Newquist. Chair, our Speaker Van Dyne.
Thank you. The reason for this county board rule change is simply for government efficiency. At times, we have received multiple letters to be read into the record. And I personally feel, and I think other members of this board feel, that to be an efficient county board member, we can take the time to read these emails that are sent to us at our own leisure. What we're doing is trying to avoid having our staff members sit through hours of testimony, having members of the public sitting through hours of emails and testimony before they have an opportunity to speak. This allows our staff to go back to work during their day And like I said, us county board members will receive them through the public portal and get to read them at our own leisure. So that is the reason for this rule change.
Thank you. Leader Richmond.
I agree with Speaker Van Dyne on efficiencies and cost savings and that, because when I look back behind this room, I see literally tens of thousands of dollars of FTE sitting here listening to several hours of written emails that are sent in. What I do encourage people to do is let us know as board members what they want to hear, what they want us to do in that. So I don't ever want to stifle anybody's voice, but at the same time too, I want to be efficient and effective in there. I think there's been a number of ideas on how to do that, so that this way everybody on this board knows exactly where the public is at. I've heard some good ideas of putting on a opposed or in favor of ticker on the email portal. Might be a very good idea. That I would not want staff to have to read them and determine who's going to be, for or against or anything like that. That's our responsibility as county board members. We get paid to do a job. Some will disagree we're not paid enough. Others agree we're being paid too much. Do your job. I don't care how much money you make. Do your job and be effective as a county board representative to your citizens. Now, second part is on a number of these resolutions and ordinances, and we've already seen it today, is that there's issues on clarity. I know I've talked in leadership about making sure that these things are as clear as possible, working with the state's attorney's office, and making sure that they come out as a document that we can all be proud of. The challenge that I have is you hear it from people all the time. Well, it's good enough for government work. The problem is it's not good enough for Jim Richmond. And I want to make sure that I hold this board to the highest possible standard, that we deliver quality material. I'm not saying we're not, but I think it's our job as county board members to do the best we possibly can and deliver to the public something that we can all be proud of. So, thank you.
Thank you. Member Butler.
So I can appreciate everyone getting in the spirit of government efficiency, the kind of like the Doge movement. But the problem that a lot of times what we face with our Constitution is not the Constitution itself, but the lack of participation in the Constitution. And by limiting people's ability to be recognized at a public hearing, it does that. All we were asking is that, hey, I get it. Nobody wants to read 160 form, nobody wants to listen to 160 form letters. I understand that. But we said, in the interest of efficiency, let's change the website. It is a form website. You have to go in, you have to fill out the different squares. You could very simply put case number, put if you're for or against, or as some said, you're indifferent, but I don't care. And then it can be tabulated. And at least as a group, they should be represented at a public hearing. It's a very simple thing. It's not going to create any extra work except for the initial programming, and it would satisfy all members of the board. By just saying we're not going to do it, that's not right. We're going to limit the people's ability to participate in their local government, okay? There are sick people who can't make it. They have to write an email. I'm just saying, it seems like a very simple thing. So I would like to postpone this another month and get some language clarified on this, because there's a lot of good ideas that aren't even reflected in this. So I move to postpone this to next month.
The motion to postpone until next month. Is there a second? Second, O'Gale. Any discussion? You can keep. Is there any discussion on the postponement? Can you just raise your hand so you don't have to turn your lights off and turn them on? Anyone want to discuss this? Or okay, County Board, Madam Clerk, please take the roll on the postponement. Postponement.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman? O'Gala? Pretzel? Butler? Newquist? Balich? Oxley? Brooks? Winfrey? Bullock? Logan? Freeman? Revis? Ortiz?
We're voting on, Member Butler has asked for this item to be postponed. The postponement of the public reading.
Yes. Berkowitz? Hickey? Costa? Trainier? Van Dyne? 11, no.
With 11 the negative, the motion fails. Oh, wait,
That's right.
hold on a second.
11 negative, 10.
So 11 negative, the motion fails. Back to the original motion, and we're going to go start again with comment, with discussion. Member Dean Schlottman. Did you have your light on anymore? You had it originally. Okay, sorry. Member Revis.
I think out of, all the issues that we've had come up on the board, I've become somewhat of an expert at getting people to email in to voice their opinion about a certain topic or how they feel and what they want the county board to do. Sadly, oftentimes they get ignored by the board. So I just want everybody to know whether or not we limit them from being read into the record or if they're printed out or provided to us in some copy. I promise, and I'm still going to be working to get residents to voice their opinion because that's what the form of government we have. We're a representative government. We get elected by the people to do what they want. I think it's inappropriate a lot of times when we ignore what the residents say because they may have one or two facts misstated. And because it's not in the perfect technical term, county board members scoff at them and say, oh, silly taxpayer, you don't understand how this works. And then they push and bully their way onto them, which has happened many times on this board. So, I'm promise I'll still get the emails to come in regardless of the rule change. So thank you.
Thank you. Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. Well, following up, I do know that there are board members that do read their emails and care about what their constituents feel and are engaged. So it isn't the entire board, and I'm not even going to say anybody on the board is not a proper board member. That is not our place, especially during a committee, during a fall county board meeting. What I would like to do is to focus on the issue right here, which is amending or taking away the ability for a resident to represent their view by having their comments read through public comment. So my question is, on our agenda, our monthly agendas, the only committee that has a designated public comment is land use and development. So anybody who's here on a land use and development case has that ability to speak before the board votes on those items.
Yeah, that's a hearing. That's why. It's a public hearing. as
Okay, it's a
opposed-
hearing.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
why it's different. Yeah.
Now, but it's still a form of public comment. We may not call it public comment, but it's their ability to come before us to share information they may have or just to let us know how they feel, correct? That's a public hearing.
It's part of a process. And again, yeah, well, like,
So my
would
question
you like
is,
the
many
state's
people-
attorney to answer that?
Oh, sure.
All right.
A public hearing and public comment are two very different things. This ordinance change is addressing public comments. public hearings never allowed anybody, and it would be, in the opinion of most lawyers, unconstitutional to allow written in comments to be made during the public hearing. There is an ability to cross-examine the witnesses during a public hearing. That's what differentiates, and one of the ways it differentiates a public comment versus a public hearing. That is a statutory and constitutional thing. What you're talking about, I think, is it's not a public comment for land use. It is part of the due process that landowners get in a hearing for their whatever it is, a zoning variance, a map amendment. So they're two very different processes.
Correct. So regarding the people who email in a public comment, it often is regarding an agenda item, maybe a finance item, maybe it's a public works item. So where will we be placing, so we're not reading those, okay? They're going to be attached to the agenda, I hope. I hope all of those letters we received last week from Chuck are on this agenda. I haven't seen them, but I'm still looking. I know they were in my email, but I think they should be on the agenda. So for the people who make the effort to come to the county because they want to express their concerns or maybe information they have regarding an item, when is that public comment going
So
to occur?
We have, those are
on
going to, they're going to stay the same on our on our agenda. You have 2 times for public comment. One
So
is at the
they'll
very
stay-
beginning, that's any agenda item. So any agenda item. At the end, again, this was voted on by county board, at the very end, and that's for any, and you'll hear me say, any jurisdiction of the county. So that's just someone who wants to come in and talk about anything they want that has in the county. So we do, and we have for the last 3 years, have a beginning and an end. What you are discussing today, and I probably should let the speaker say it for mine, is whether or not the public comments that are sent in by email should be read during our public comment or are given to the members to read as expected on their own.
Okay, so
That's what
Jennifer,
you're voting on. Yes.
I mean, I'm asking this because this
Okay,
is
yeah.
a very lengthy resolution. I think there's things in it I don't really,
This one is?
this one is. And so I just want to confirm that our agendas will continue to provide the public comment in the beginning and then also in the end.
Yes, the agenda, the order of the agenda is not changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we have, I'm just going in order here. County Board Member Pretzel.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So I just want to remind the board that the rules were changed because of COVID, because people were, the opportunity to come speak to the board was taken from them. So we allowed written and emails to be read into comment in place of people coming to these meetings. All we're trying to do is go back to pre-COVID rules. The problem is, just like with proclamations, we've seen this abused. So it's now become a place where if a board member has a strong opinion on something, he or she goes back to whatever local group they're part of and says, I need everybody to, this is 911, write emails in. And all it really does is take up a bunch of time for this meeting and all the staff members from each different part of the county that are sitting here for 2, 3, 4 hours. Instead of doing their work, they're sitting here listening to the same email being read over and over and over. This is not an attempt to limit the opportunity to be recognized at a public hearing or for anyone to participate in the process. Anybody that has an opinion is always welcome to come talk during public comment. They can stay till after the meeting and say whatever they want, and we'll be here to listen to them. The problem is if we say, you know, we're going to keep this in place so that elderly people or people who have to be at work or can't get care for their children, they can't be, we can't just keep this in place for them because it's abused. And we've seen it happen over and over where hundreds of people are just copying and pasting the same email. And we're making our members of the clerk's office read it or Forest Preserve read it and tying up a bunch of time. So for those reasons, I just support going back to the pre-COVID rules, like all the other governing bodies. And you're always welcome to email your board members or the whole board as a whole, but we don't need to be reading these over and over and over again at each meeting for hours and hours. So I support this. I hope you do too.
Thank you. Member Trinier?
Thank you, Madam Executive. I've been involved in politics, probably since 2004, really paying attention to my local officials. I voted before then, but in '04, I really started listening to what they say, what they do, how they vote. I have yet to meet any elected official of any party, of any stripe, at any level, that I would agree with 100% of the time. I expect that the people that I represent in my district have elected me to use my best judgment, my opportunity to become educated on any particular subject that comes in front of us, and make a decision. I always read all of my emails, as a good elected official should do. Sometimes I agree with what the writer has to say, and sometimes I don't. I believe it's my job to discern how I would like to vote. I don't believe it's my job to put my finger up in the air to see which way the constituents' winds are blowing. That's not how I prefer to govern. There are multiple ways to govern. I've been to many classes on this topic. I believe it is our position, our job, to read our agendas, research, educate ourselves, read our emails. We do not need a member of staff to read them to us. I think the last time somebody read to me, I might have been in the first grade. Or maybe it was my parents. But I certainly don't need another adult to read items to me that I have the ability to read on my own. It is efficient to read these on our own. We do not need to waste all of the staff time, as Member Pretzel has indicated. This is a far more expedient way to do our jobs. This is how we did it before. And I am happy to see that we are finally considering going back to it, and I will be a yes vote. Thank you.
County Board Member Freeman?
Thank you, Madam Executive. I have owned a lot this morning. I do remember this coming up. I do remember the conversation. I do remember Member Hickey trying to say, let's have it separated opposition and for different things. I think that the way that they're bringing forward is based on her suggestions, and I appreciate that. No one is saying that we don't want our constituents to send an email. No one is saying we don't want to hear from our constituents. No one is saying that we don't care about how the people of Will County feel about an issue. What we are doing is trying to put the responsibility of reading the emails back on the board members. It's part of our work here to read, to listen, and to hear what our constituents' concerns, thoughts, and needs are. The emails will be made public, they will be attached to the agenda, and they will be available for us to do our due diligence, there's that wonderful word again, and read prior to the meeting and our voting so that we can make an informed decision. I am in favor of making this change. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Hickey?
Thank you, Madam Executive. I just want to be clear. I do appreciate input from the public, especially the stakeholders on issues. I give equal weight, or I don't give extra weight to comments because they're made in person. I really don't differentiate. I read the emails. In a perfect world, we would be getting contacted by community members who had organically formed an opinion about this. I realize this is a busy world. Not everybody has time to pay attention to every decision that comes before the county board. So I even appreciate people putting out a siren to stakeholder groups and asking them to submit their feelings on the topic. I just truly think that reading them allowed is the issue here. And I strongly support ending that practice. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Brooks Nagala.
Madam Executive, I'm old enough to know there's an old saying called a squeaky wheel get the oil. And what that means is when the public comments come in, we listen, we read them. It does have an impact and does make a decision. For those of you who may not know, I am vision impaired in my left eye. Thanks to Tim Hendricks hiding in the shade over there. I can see him. Hi, Tim. But what he did, he put a magnifying glass on my computer that I can move around and read the emails. And I said that to say this: I much rather read them in private when I have time in my own office in my own comfort, because they still have the impact. I agree with everybody today. Those are for and against. Either way, if Annette Parker read 200 letters, it would still have the same impact than if I took them home in my office and read them. So I'm actually in favor of this resolution because it gives me time, in my own time, to read those letters and make the decision before I come to this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Member O'Gala.
Thank you. So I think that we should be clear that we can never judge what another elected official chooses to do in their role as an elected official. And I think it's very important to reach out to our constituents and let them know what's going on, because there isn't, like years ago, there was a newspaper that you could read. So many different places to go. Not every place has the same thing. So the elected official who takes the extra time to go and inform their constituents so that they're aware of what's happening and they can submit comments, I think that's fabulous. I also was here prior to COVID, and the written comments that were sent in were given to us via email and attached in our minutes. So I think that's a good change to do. But I don't ever consider ever listening, whether we were listening to them or not, a waste of my time or our staff time, because we are here to serve the public, both all elected officials and our staff. That's their job. In addition to that, the way the resolution is written, I do not like the wording in it whatsoever. I think that it puts us in a bad light. And I know that there will be some motions to change some of that wording so that the motion for the resolution is more consistent with a simple fact. Going back to the way it was pre-COVID, we did the COVID reading of the emails simply because of directives from the Illinois Department of Health and the worries about everybody getting COVID and sick from that. So I think that returning back to the way we did it before there is no problem with that. But I do believe that the resolution is written in a manner that puts us in a bad light, and I think it should be changed.
Member Butler for a second time.
So as I listen to everybody speak, it's very frustrating because I feel like people talk, but they don't listen. I'm a very good listener, and I hear both sides. We're talking about being efficient, not wasting lawyers' time because it's hundreds of dollars, or staff who is overworked, okay? But then I hear solutions. Well, let's just change the form. The computers can figure out if they're for or against, and they can tally the numbers. So you can still read the emails. The people can still be represented, at least in number, during the meeting. So they feel like they're getting better representation because at least their number is counted as for or against. It should work. With a little bit of rewording, everybody could be happy. But we keep saying the same things as if the other people aren't even talking. Aren't we listening to one another? We can agree on this. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. There could be a middle ground and achieve all the objectives. So that's why I wanted to postpone this and send it back to have it reworded, because everyone could come to agreement on this. But since that was a failed motion, I'm going to say no to this and let them bring it up again. But this time, maybe they'll listen to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just reminding people, you are well within, when you speak for a second time, you get 2 minutes according to your rules. You were fine, but I just want to remind everyone in case but we have some new speakers now, so I'm going to start over to people who have not spoken yet. County Board Member Dean Schlottman.
I want to be brief here. I understand that this is a topic where we want to make sure that the voices are heard from the people, especially when they are here at the board. I want to make sure that they get to come up and speak, and we're not trying to push meetings through too quickly because of saying that that's efficiency. We're here to serve the public. But as far as going to before pre-COVID rules, I think we just need to make the resolution say, something to the fact that we're just doing this to go to before pre-COVID. Obviously, please come in, please voice your opinion, please send your emails. We do read them. Sometimes I have my daughter help me read them because, when you're working on fluency, it helps to read things out loud that are awkward things to read. So I read through these emails and will continue to do so. But I just think that, again, with the efficiency for staff, I think that would be the best bet, but I don't want us to push a resolution through that's just good enough. I want us to put forth the best resolution that puts the values of this county board forward, saying that, yes, we are going to listen to what people come in and email, but we're also going to make sure that people come in and they are, able to speak. But 400 emails that a lot of them are copied and pasted, maybe not being read over and over again, aren't doing anything here. But I know that when we are reading them, it does make a difference. And we do want to hear what people are saying. I just think the way that the resolution is worded right now kind of makes it sound like we don't want to listen, we don't care. And I think that's what some of the county board members are feeling right now. At least that's how it reads to me. And I don't want the constituents to think that we're just passing them off. We are here to do a job for them. So that's why I would say no, but I do support putting this county board back to its working form before COVID.
Thank you. We have County Member Newquist, and we'll go to Richmond.
I'd like to call the question.
Is there a second? Second by Madam Clerk. Oh, you have to call the roll for that. The vote is to call the question.
Richmond?
Voting right now just to call the question.
You say no? No? Williams? Dean Schlottman? Ogella? Oh. Pretzel? Butler?
I don't know. Keep going on. I can't determine that. They press into the last.
Butler? No. Newquist? Balich? No. Axley? No. Brooks? Yeah. Winfrey? Bullock? Logan? No. Freeman? Brevis? Mitch, Ortiz? Berkowitz? No. Hickey? Costa? Trainier? Van Dyne?
11 yeses, it fails. You need to have a supermajority. So we will continue on with our discussion. And Leader Richmond, you were next.
Thank you. I mean, I've stated this before and I'll state it again. COVID is 5 years in the rearview mirror. We need to get government back to being efficient and effective. I don't think having somebody read emails to me is a good use of their time and my time. I know we need to take responsibility to read our emails and responses from our citizens ourselves. When I looked through this resolution, I did have conversation with leadership in that. And again, going back, there's a number of things here that if we're going to put a resolution forward, it needs to give us to give the residents a clear indication of what we're doing and how they can interact with us. In the first sentence, it talks about submitted through the public comments website. It's not a public comments website. It's the Will County Board portal that's located on the county board website. If they send it to the wrong location, their email won't get handled properly. There's a bunch of other whereases on here that I feel are redundant and unnecessary. I think what we need to do is we just need to go back and go back to pre-COVID and do everything that we did before. I mean, I'd be more than happy to read through this whole thing, but I believe that sometimes some of these whereases shed a negative light on this board, and we're not willing to do our responsibility or take on the responsibility of reading our constituents' emails. So I will be a no on this. I want to make sure that we deliver good quality material, because this ultimately does get published. And, as a leader, I want to make sure that we put out a good quality product. I'm not saying it's a bad quality product. I'm saying what it needs to be is it needs to be focused and very direct so that everybody can understand it and read it and not have to have a law degree to understand what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Logan?
All right, well, since we voted to discuss, I thought I'd put my 2 cents in. I'm going to agree with everybody else about not reading the emails. I like the idea. It is, we can probably use better time elsewhere. However, this resolution, I think it's the 13th, whereas it talks about how we are telling people what we think the public is going to be frustrated. That just kind of implies that all the emails we get make people frustrated. I don't think it actually does. So I would be with Jim and Judy. This needs to be cleaned up. I mean, there's like Jim said, there's some whereases in here that give past examples of stuff. I don't remember reading those in previous resolutions. I don't know why we have examples in here. I know we just passed a resolution not too long ago that was 4 pages long, and we pushed it down to 1 or 2 paragraphs. I think we need to do that with this one too. So I think this resolution needs to be rewritten. Thank you.
Member Bullock? Sorry, yep.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're a fresh voice. You would go first.
Oh, goody. Are we able to make amendments to this on the floor right now? So could we maybe use our time and start doing that instead of talking about what we don't like? Let's bring up a whereas you don't like, and let's get rid of it if we don't want it. Let's start voting through this resolution so that we do have something we can all agree on.
Member or Speaker Van Dyne? We have people speaking, but they've already spoke once.
That does, Member Bullock does make a good point, and that's kind of why I had my light hit. We did go through executive committee with none of these, I wouldn't say none of these comments, but rewriting the resolution was never brought up. I went to both caucus meetings on Tuesday and Wednesday evening, and none of these items were ever discussed. If that was the case, we would have stayed up all night long to rewrite the resolution that would appease the majority of this board. I don't know if we have enough time to rewrite it to make everybody happy at this time. So I'd be more than happy to rewrite the resolution to appease the majority of the board, but I don't know if we'll even get there.
Member Trinier?
Thank you, Madam Executive. Couple of things. I know at our caucus last night, it was mentioned that the speaker has absolutely no problem putting an oppose or a support on the website so that when people write their comment, they can click the box that says support or oppose. There is no problem with that. I don't believe that needs to go in a resolution. And I would make the motion that we strike after the first whereas, every single whereas with the exception of the last two, basically stating very simply, whereas the Will County Board adopted rules and procedures on December 2nd, 2024 that require all written comments of up to 500 words submitted through the public comment website to be read into the record at the Will County Board meeting. And whereas the reading of written comments into the record at a county board meeting is a COVID era rule stemming from public concerns over becoming ill by attending a public meeting. And whereas the Will County Board in the past has modified its rules regarding the reading of written comments as they relate to form letters to shorten the amount of time spent to reading comments aloud. Therefore, be it resolved and be done. That says what we need to say.
We have a motion and a second. You have yes, what's your question, sir?
I would like a written, what she just said, a
Just
written
strike.
motion.
I'm not adding any
I
changes.
would like a written
Strike.
motion of exactly what she just said.
All right.
Before this.
Let me
is
go
even
find it.
considered.
Can someone from the county board staff just make a correction for them understand? So we have well, all right, well, we can't even vote on it until we get the written one. It's a part, he wants it written in your rules, say you can have it written. So we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
You're just trying.
Motion by Brooks, seconded by Ortiz. All in favor, any opposed? Motion carries. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Because all it needs to say is we're going back to pre-COVID. Period. She's right. Jackie's right.
That's not.
Yes,
No.
You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong. You love to sit here and tie up this time, but it does no
No,
good. And
it's
you're
all
the
crazy.
reason-
When you
It's-
say that so much, I feel like
it's
you're talking about your information.
I don't have anything to do today.
Okay.
On Thursdays, I
Then
block
what's
off my.
wrong with saying 300 people road lane, 250
Because you know he's gonna say it, or she's gonna say it, somebody's gonna say it. You don't
Who is it
need
that
to say it.
says
Listen, if
Why
it's an
would you
important
care?
issue, you don't think that I'm gonna use my opportunity to be like, I received 300 emails,
No,
not
no, no,
299.
The clerk is- You can't say that.
But it doesn't matter. They don't do it at any other
Why
branch
does
of
it
government.
matter?
They don't do it in Congress. They don't do it.
Why does it not matter?
Why do you think it matters? Because all it really says is I worked harder than that side on this issue.
No,
I got more.
no, what it says is that that many people agree or oppose on an issue.
Yes.
That's what it
Then
says.
say it. You can say I had a town hall.
It should be read in the
300 people
record
came.
by the clerk, the way it's supposed to. They didn't have
It
to
is,
read-
it's in
They
the
don't have to
packet.
read
It's in
three
your
letters.
packet.
It's not for you, Frank.
Every
It's
email
not for
is in
you.
your packet.
You understand? It's not for
It's
you.
just, it's anything.
Listen to me. This-
Okay, a little more than 5 minutes, but I think we have, I'm going to take this back to County Board Member Trenier, who asked for the amendment. So let me just make sure. So it's not exactly how she wanted. Should she read it again? No, is it? Okay, okay. Okay,
Madam
Member Trenier.
Executive, I'm going to withdraw my motion. And
Okay.
would you please let Mr. Richmond
Got
handle
it.
the motion?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leader Richmond.
All right. So let me first make sure I do this right. Do I have to read this whole thing? Okay, all right.
Everybody's
that
got
big
it in
either, but-
front of them.
All right. So I want to make a motion to amend with the new resolution that's in front of everybody right now. That has 3 whereases and then the now therefore. Does everybody have that in front of them? Okay, so that's the motion I want to make.
So we have were you done, sir?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
Yes,
So we have you have your item before you. We have a motion to approve the amended governance rule. Is there a second? Seconded by, did I hear Newquist? All right, now I'm going to have you, okay, now if there is we're discussion on the new amendment here. Is there any discussion on this new amendment? I don't see any. Or I'm sorry, Member Bullock.
In the second whereas the reading of written comments into the record at a county board meeting is a COVID era what?
Is it, it should price, is it, should it?
No, it doesn't.
It was a COVID era. What would you like to, what are you asking?
I'm just saying as a teacher, there's no, it's a COVID era. It's
And
a
then you go, and
descriptor. What's the verb or what's the noun? COVID era rule.
You would like to make a motion to add rule?
A friendly amendment to add rule?
Seconded by Dean Slotman. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? We are going to add rule to COVID era rule. So now we have a motion and a second on the amended governance rule. Is there any discussion on that? Madam Clerk, please, we need a fresh roll, don't we? Yeah. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman. O'Gala. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock.
Yes.
Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne. Yep.
19 in the affirmative, the motion carries. So now you have to go back one more time, Joe. You're amending the county board rules as amended. I don't get it, but that's what you have to do. Okay.
So I would like to make a motion to amend the county board rules regarding the reading of public comment letters as amended.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by O'Gala. Previous roll call. Oxley, seconded by Winfrey. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Chair. Back to you, Chair. Speaker, sorry.
Trying to find my spot here. Just 1 second. That conclude, well, we don't have.
No, you're going to the next committee.
I would like to defer to the chair of the ad hoc committee, ordinance review committee, Chair Trenier.
Okay, do you want to tell when the next committee is for your executive first?
I don't see it
It's
listed.
March 13th, 2025.
Thank
It's the
you.
next executive committee.
Thank
So
you.
very good.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to ad hoc ordinance, it's Member Trenier.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So I just have a question, and this is for the state's attorney. They have divided this out into alphabets, A, B, C, D, E. C seems to me to be really what A and B are, but, well, what A is. So I'm just not really sure. Do I take one vote on the whole thing? How are we proceeding with this? Because there's various parts.
Sure. I would say you would take it as one vote. It is ordinance 25-40. If any member wants to split out portions, they can make that motion.
Okay, all right. Then I will want to make that motion, and then I'd like to speak on it. So number 1, 25-40, amending the Code of Ordinances, Title I, Title III, and Chapter 30.
We have a motion by Trinier, seconded by Newquist. Go ahead,
Okay.
Chairman.
So on the Title I and Title III, it was made clear to us, and I wasn't on the committee, but I attended many meetings, that some of the Scrivener's errors would be cleaned up as part of the final. A lot of them maybe have been, but we have still found a few more. And I don't really want to slow this down. I think we have staff that is more than capable of correcting a capitalization in some of the sections where it says chair, it didn't say /speaker. In some of the red sections, it would say speaker, but it didn't say in front of it /chair. Minor little things. They have nothing to do with the substance. We can't really change the grammar in most circumstances because this is language taken straight out of the statute. So I really want to encourage people to approve this. As far as Chapter 30 goes, 30.01 and 30.02 have literally already been approved. They were approved in September of 2023. They are a part of the entire Chapter 30. There are some parts in Chapter 30 that no longer match our newly updated rules. But I did point out that in the section, and I may have, here it is. In 30.03 under conduct of business, capital letter D, at the very last sentence, it says the adoption of county board rules at a reorganization meeting that modify the number of and/or creation of committees and/or duties or the titles of members thereof shall supersede the provisions of this ordinance. That doesn't really address other changes like the one we just made. And I really don't want to send this back to committee. I would like to approve it as it is. And then when the committee finishes its work on all of the other chapters, we can revisit this one. And if our rules don't match, we would then make another change to the ordinance because there are things in here that don't match our rules today. If you go further into section 30.03, capital letter P, changing county boards at the reorganization meeting, there is a whole procedure there for how we can bring up the topic of changing the rules for a reorg meeting. That's currently not in our book. And so if you're a county board member and you don't have these ordinances in front of you 2 years from now, and it's time to take a look at the county board rules, there's no process in our rule book to allow us to do that. So I really would recommend that we pass this today. Again, coming back to this chapter 30 after we finish all of the other ordinances, because there may be more rule changes that we make over the next 2 years. And I really plan to finish all these ordinances in 1 year or less. So we will be back at this pretty quickly. We've instituted a new procedure. So I'm just asking that the board accept the committee's recommendations and understand that we will revisit things. And there will be changes as far as the Scrivener's errors. They will be corrected. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Member Butler?
So I'd like to make a motion to strike I. To make it simply, strike the entire motions. Every motion shall be reduced to writing if requested by any member of the board, which is the only reason I say strike that is because whatever is in our bylaw supersedes Robert's rules, and we've identified that we follow Robert's rules. So it's redundant, and a motion to table or a motion to postpone will be handled the same way. I just don't like that language. In Robert's rules, it's not handled the same way. I know that there's been discussion that said, well, they're talking about requesting writing, but it's a separate sentence. So to make it easy and in the spirit of Jackie wanting to get through this and get it approved, I just think this, since this is already covered in Robert's rules, and rather than it, be questionable as to the way it's written, just strike it. It's in Robert's rules. It's not double.
You done?
Okay, so then, does no one agree with that, or?
I don't.
Right.
Okay, well, then I would make a motion that, I question that statement there. Is the statement that we are to handle a motion to table or a motion to postpone the same? Or is he talking about that a motion to table or a motion to postpone must be reduced to writing if requested?
Do you know what I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, a lot of things going on. You're asking me for my opinion of what that section says?
Yeah, I'm not clear, like you could read that and you could just say, because the only reason I say that is in my 2 years on this board, the motion to table, motion to postpone have been interchanged as if they were the same thing, and they're not. So when they say they're going to treat it the same, it makes me think that they're just trying to cement in that we're going to treat it the same as we have the last 2 years.
This
when
was
it's not.
discussed and answered in committee, and Mr. Butler was present.
Answered by the state's attorney's office? I just don't want to give,
I know that one of the board members, board member Bullock, answered the question. I don't recall if the state's attorney's representative concurred.
So if we're going to handle a motion to table and a motion to postpone in the same way, which way is that? Are we going to say to postpone is going to be like a table where we don't have discussion? Or are we going to say when you table, you can have discussion? I just think it's a statement that is incorrect. It should, if you're going to quote Robert's rules, just write Robert's rules in there. And if you're unsure how to say it, just copy it from the book.
Mr. State's Attorney, what was brought up in the committee was they said that the second sentence was referring to the first part. Basically, if you're going to make a motion to table or a motion to postpone, you should reduce it to writing. That was what was clarified in the committee. Now, if that's not what this means, then you need to tell us that.
that has been the advice of the state's attorney's office, then I'm not going to contradict that.
No. That was brought up by board member Bullock. I don't recall the state's attorney's office commenting.
Member Newquist, do you have a clarification for this one as well, the same topic? Okay, because.
I could be not remembering correctly, but I thought we added per Robert's rules
That's on,
after that.
that was for C.
Okay, then I was not remembering
Or,
correctly.
I'm sorry, that was 303C 3. Or no. Let's see, absence, time, please.
Oh, I see. B, I see. B that was about, you're right. That
Yeah.
was about speaking.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, thank you. Sorry about that.
So I will, this is what I'll say. I don't know what the intention of the person who drafted this was. That's an important guide to, any sort of statutory interpretation. Generally, you read sections of the code as they're related to each other. So as it stands, without anything further, it looks to me that it is referring to the first sentence. If there is a desire to clarify that, that is a policy question. If there's a desire to change that language to reflect what you've indicated, Member Butler, that is certainly something, a motion you can make. Whether what you want that to say or how you want to go forward is a policy question, not a legal question regarding that specific issue.
So I would request, I would make a motion to change the last line that says a motion to table or a motion to postpone shall be in writing upon request of a board member.
There's a second.
Give a second.
Yep, we'll go, so there's a second. So now we're discussing, now we already have a second by Newquist. Now we're discussing Mr. Butler's amendment or motion, sorry. Go
May
ahead.
I?
Well, yes, you can, so let, Mr. Butler would like to first talk about it, then I'll give it to you, Member Newquist. You're still on, sir.
Okay, so I'm just trying, and this is for the whole board, okay, because we have rules that help to mediate and help to, make sure the meeting goes on quickly and that important business can be taken care of when necessary. So a motion to table requires a pressing matter before it to move that subject to another meeting and then go on to something else. And that requires just a vote and no discussion. Typically, motions to table are used to just bury things. And if you've ever been on the other end of that, you can understand why I don't like it, okay? A motion to postpone allows you to move a subject like we did earlier to a next month so that people can work together and either get more information or come up with a better resolution at the next meeting that we can agree on. So it's very different. And that one, there's a discussion that can take place whether or not you want it to postpone. So I'm just trying to protect that. They're not to be treated the same way.
Member Newquist.
Yes, thank you. I understand what Member Butler is saying, but it was my impression, and I think this was part of what we had discussion on in committee, was that this basically referred to reducing motions in writing if requested. So perhaps a better way to say this would be, every motion shall be reduced to writing if requested by any member of the board, including motions to table or motions to postpone.
Well,
yes.
I would agree to that.
okay, so you got to just withdraw your
I will,
amendment.
I will withdraw my amendment and I will accept the rephrased amendment.
Okay, so did everyone hear County Board Member Newquist's amendment? All right, so I see lights on, but we have a motion for an amendment by Newquist, seconded by Butler. Is there I see lights on, so are you going to discuss on this amendment first? If there's anyone who wants to discuss this amendment, County Board, or Speaker Van Dyne on this amendment.
Thank you. I'm trying to work out with leadership here on this issue. So speaking to the amendment, I am not going to be in favor of the amendment. And I hope everybody else would not support the amendment as well. Let's go back to the original amending the code of ordinances, and then we can continue. I think we have something worked out to where both parties will be happy. So I will not support the amendment.
Okay. Hold on a second. So we're going to vote on the amendment first. All right. So no one else want to speak on that? Oh, County Board Member Oxley.
I think the question here is the difference between tabling an item or postponing it is the verbiage. That's for the state's attorney to clarify, because you can table an item to the next meeting or a specific date, or you can postpone it. So it's just a play on words we're going by here, and I think the state's attorney should clarify which is which, because it's the same.
All right. He's looking for the difference of, he would like an explanation of what table as opposed to postpone means. Yeah, it is.
So the difference between, I think Member Butler did lay out succinctly what the difference between the two of them is. Therefore, I mean, when you read those things together, that's, I think the more reasonable reading is that they're intending to encompass what the amendment has come up with, that those are to be treated the same way as with the written thing. So I The question being, yes, tabling usually tables it and kind of takes it off the radar of the board, whereas postpone is to put it to a certain time. It's a definite action that brings it to say, hey, we're going to reconsider this again at whatever the next board meeting. So, like I said, I think Member Butler put it succinctly, the difference between the two of them. And I don't know if there's any other question on that topic.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. I see lights, but I'm assuming it's not for any of this now. Raise your hand if you want on this one. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. This is on Member Newquist and Butler's motion, amended motion.
Richmond. We're voting.
Voting on, I know everybody's gotten a lot of ears. So right now, we are voting on the amended motion that Newquist made and Butler. I can't read it for him. No, I haven't. Sherry, do you want to, yeah.
Sure. My motion was, every motion shall be reduced to writing if requested by any member of the board, including motions to table and motions to postpone.
Okay, that's the amended motion. So we have a first and a second, no more discussion. I think, do we need a clean roll?
Yeah, you started the roll.
Okay, Madam Clerk, no, I didn't. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, we're fine? Okay, is there a previous? Oh, we can't do the previous. Okay, no, we can't
right.
do it. Sorry, we're gonna take the roll, sorry.
Here we go. Ready? Richmond. Williams? Yes. Dean Schlottman. O'Gala. Pretzel? Yes. Butler? Yes. Newquist? Balich? Yes. Oxley? Yes. Brooks? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Bullock? Logan? Yes. Freeman?
Yes.
Brevis? Ortiz? Berkowitz? Hickey? Costa? Trainier?
Yes.
Van Dyne?
Yes.
So 21 in the affirmative, the motion passes. We are now going back to Chair Trainier to make
Yeah,
amend the amendment. Motion to amend.
bring my agenda back up. So I would make the motion that we pass 25-40, amending the Code of Ordinances, Title I, Title III, and Chapter 30 as amended.
So there's a motion by Trainier. Is there a second? Seconded by Dean Schlottman. Comments on this now as a whole. County Board Member Berkowitz and then Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So I have a question regarding Section 1020. It's Section B, and it's on my iPad, it's page 8. And it basically, it's got sections 1, 2, and 3, and it says section amended, and then it says section blank of the Will County Code of Ordinances is amended to read as follows, ... And that's on each section. So I don't understand why there's blanks in section 1, 2, and 3.
Well, he's looking at the County Board Member Trainier is going to respond because they must have talked about something like that.
Absolutely. This is sample language for how to change our ordinances in the future. It is sample language. That is why you see the blanks, because you're not going to list the ordinance number. It's a fill in the blank.
Right, yeah. So they're just giving you kind of like guidance of how when we do this, when we comply with this ordinance, this is how you set up the language.
We
That help you?
Sample language in Chapter 30 as well, in terms of how a county board meeting's agenda should be written, and other sample language. That's the purpose of the ordinance, is to give you the template to follow.
Thank you. County Board Member or Speaker Van Dyne. So this is on the amended motion. Yes.
Yes, thank you. There are board members on both sides of the aisle that want to pass this ordinance as amended, and then there are some that want to make a few minor changes. So my suggestion and what I've worked out with leadership is to pass this amended version today, as of right now, And then within the next 60 days, we will revisit some of the minor issues that may be contained in this document to address. And we do have an agreement. So I would like to have everyone end discussion and please vote on this to pass today. Thank you.
Any County Board Member Butler?
I just want to clarify. He's including the amendment that was already.
You've already
agreed to.
passed that,
Okay.
yes, you've already passed it, that's done. So now we're voting now on the, as amended. The amended is amended. All right. Madam Clerk, oh, do we have a fresh one? All right. Is there a previous? Previous by Logan, second by Winfrey, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Executive.
you.
Thank you, fellow county board members. I think I'd already mentioned that our next ordinance meeting, even though the date isn't on here, we will be planning to meet for 2 hours at a time. Our attorney advisor, Assistant State's Attorney Phil Mock, has implored people to please read this material over as soon as possible and contact him individually with any questions that you have so that he can educate you, explain it, agree with you, and make sure that it gets brought to the committee. But please read in advance so that we can move this along in an expeditious way. Board Member Logan has suffered through this for almost 2 years, and I really want to be done within a year. I don't want this to take another 2 years or more. And the only way we're going to do that is if we are proactive about these items in these ordinances. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Speaker Van Dyne, we're on to ad hoc courthouse.
I would like to refer to Chair Williams on this section, please.
Leader Williams?
Okay, so the recommendation, the Ad hoc Old Courthouse Committee accepts the attached results of the survey of Will County board members to name the open space that is the site of the former Will County Courthouse. In accepting these results, the Ad hoc Old Courthouse Committee recommends that the Will County Board adopt a resolution to come later to name the site of the former Will County Courthouse as Courtside Plaza, which was voted on for the majority, 78.6% of the people who voted in favor of Courtside Plaza. And I so move.
Motion by Williams, seconded by Winfrey. Is there any discussion? Previous roll call by Dean Schlotman, seconded by Oxley. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Speaker Van Dyne, Ad hoc Access Will County
Yeah,
Committee.
and I'm sorry, I keep turning off my microphone. I would, Madam Executive, I would like to turn this over to Chair Butler for his recommendation.
Mr. Butler.
So I had to do a lot of soul searching about this. So I have a prepared statement. As the chair of the Access Will County Ad hoc Committee, I was charged with leading my committee to make recommendations to the board on how we should move forward with the Access Will County program. During our time, we identified stakeholders and we interviewed those individuals responsible for their dial ride programs. Those who are not able to come filled out a survey to help our committee recognize strengths and weaknesses that these township supervisors or managers of their dial ride systems experienced in their programs. We found that most townships were satisfied with their current programs. When we asked if there were any needs for improvement in their services, we received two suggestions to address, or at least to address two common problems. One, due to having to schedule both their trips to and return trip from, people were left waiting as long as 3 hours to get a new return trip when their doctor's office visit went longer than expected. So if their office visit was 30 minutes later than their return trip, then sometimes they had to wait 3 hours to get that trip. And for, developmentally challenged or for an elderly person, that's a long time. Also, the second one was that stakeholders were not even able to schedule destinations due to the doctor's office being outside of the township service. So these were two problems that we really took into consideration. The committee did discuss that possibly ride-share services could be used in these instances, which through a shared cost seemed to be a plausible solution for the shortcomings in the current system. However, it was the wisdom of the committee that we not offer any recommendation and to allow the executive to make policy decisions for the board. And I will read, because I just got this today, our recommendation. The ad hoc Old Courthouse Committee accepts the attached results of the survey of Will County board members to name an open, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. Well, like I said, I just read it today, so I don't even. It was just given to me. Recommendation. The Will County Board reaffirms its commitment to promoting local, efficient, and personalized transportation solutions that enhance community connectedness, bolster economic development, and prioritize the well-being of all residents in Will County. Access Will County also should make quarterly reports to the Will County Board. In my estimation, I cannot understand where a recommendation is in here. I don't even feel like this committee should be dissolved now, because there were actually solutions offered. But the busiest meeting of the whole year that I was in there happened. All kinds of people showed up after we already agreed on a resolution to dismantle every item piece by piece. People suggesting that we make no suggestion. People wondering why we're having any controversy at all. Aren't we here just to dissolve this committee? I found it despicable, to be honest with you.
Thank you. County Board Member Balich?
Yeah, I'm wanting to know why we haven't got a policy yet, and we're expected to vote on this. And
I don't know if there is a, I
think
don't
we need
understand
to-
this, yeah,
I'd
either.
like to make a motion that we create a policy, and then we go over the numbers too, because we don't know how much it costs this year, how much it costs next year, what does it cost the following year? Where's all the money going to come from? So we need to have a policy that we can all read and all understand and we can all agree on. So I think that, again, I want to make a motion to postpone or table, whatever word you want to use.
I'm going to just stop right there because Speaker Van Dyne, what are we doing today with this? Actually, I don't see any, are we voting on something today? We're not, this is just information. So this is, okay, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to leave my microphone on.
Okay.
The ad hoc access, alls we're looking for is the presentation of their final recommendations here on today's agenda.
Okay.
And that was obviously given.
Okay, and so, Mr. Balich, if you would like something to
I
go
would
back to
like-
committee, you would do that to speaker to put it in committee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we either send it back to committee.
There's nothing
table-
you're voting on today with this.
Well, it says accept.
But there's no motion. I'm being told he's not,
Well,
there's no
I'm just
motion.
reading
Yeah.
what it says. So I assume that when it says accept, that means that we're supposed to say yes or no.
Ours says just ad hoc access presentation, and so, yeah, that's all I have in front of me. But again, if this is
Well,
something.
Can I make
yeah.
a motion regarding that? Because it's on the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to create a policy from the county board. It's on the agenda to talk about it. They're asking us to accept recommendations, and I'd like to make a motion to create a policy first.
Yeah, there is no recommendation here at all. It was to give a presentation, and Member Butler shared his comments on how he felt it went along. So there's no recommendation here at all. You're not voting on anything.
Why does it say final recommendation?
I don't.
I know you don't make the
I
agenda,
don't know.
but I'm just
All
saying.
I'm reading, it says
when you
ad
read-
hoc access presentation of final recommendation. I think that was his committee's final recommendation, and he's basically telling us that he didn't feel like he was able to make a recommendation. Am I surmising you correctly there, sir?
I'm feeling that there was recommendations that were discussed, but due to the nature of the recomposition of the committee and all the people who attended, all of a sudden, everything that was agreed to before was no longer agreed to.
So back to your question, sir. I am told there's no action item here, so you would have to go back and talk to your leadership to put this on your committee meeting to further discuss about exactly what you are looking for, whether it's in quarterly reports or however you want to handle it. So my suggestion is go back to your leadership to tell them what you would look for and you go back to committee with it. Would go back to executive committee, I think.
In other words, do I need to make a motion?
You don't, because we're not voting on anything.
I'm just confused by the way this is worded.
Yeah.
So as long as we're going to address having a policy, fine.
Thank
You
you.
get that, Joe? And Jim? I want to create a policy. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Yes, County Board Member Berkowitz. Hold on, you're not on. There you go.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So I was at the committee meeting, and what I don't recall is any discussion by the committee that stated that the county executive and the Will Ride program was the policymaker for Will Ride. I don't recall that conversation happening. I feel that the county board still is a part of this process. So,
So let me go what I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I
Yeah.
believe a couple months ago, or maybe it was a month ago, that there was a vote on the Access Will County plan. The details of that plan are not the policy, it's the programmatic piece of it. So once the plan is approved, and this is something, again, it's like the process hasn't changed, that it's the county executive who runs the program for you. So is my understanding, I mean, I think I'm not losing my mind that we approved it, yeah. So,
you did, and I think that leads to the question, if you were to want to consider a 24-hour service.
that would come to you, because we'd have to pay for it, yeah. We'd have to come back to ask, if anything that we have to expand the program or something along that line. Well, again, there's a budget we put in, we presented at the budget meeting. And so again, if it was something that became costly, we'd have to come back and ask for more money. If it's something the county board wants, like we want a 24-hour program, which we do not have right now, what would happen in that is Elaine and Colin would look at that and would probably have to come back to you and say, yes, we can do this, but you need to add this much more to the budget to help us with it, because we cannot do it within the sustaining budget. So that's how this process works.
So I do have a question then, because I think I asked this during committee. When you consider, which I believe you are, in the future, expanding this program, are you going to be taking input from county board members? Because I definitely would like the north side of the county to be considered.
So as been expressed numerous times, this is a process. We're not doing it all overnight. We are going by regions, because each of the dial ride is within a region. And as in the plan said, we are having discussions with the regions, each of the regions. So eventually, but again, not to shock the system, not to ask for all the money at once. It is based on conversations with the townships who would like to get involved in it too. So they would have to say yes. And so they're piecemeal. So it's not all, today we have this group, tomorrow we have everybody. So it's done by regions.
Can I ask you to provide the county board with the timeline? So when do you, do you have a timeline on when you're going to go to the eastern part of the county or the northern part of the county? That would be very helpful.
Yeah, we can get that to you.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
All right. Speak, or do we have comment? I mean, we're not voting on anything here. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Member Ortiz, and then
Thank you.
on the ad
Commissioner.
hoc committee, yeah.
Yes, I just have a clarifying question. I know you said that we're not voting on anything, but as I understand this, I guess my question is, this recommendation is to encourage county board to implement the recommendation to have Access Will County make quarterly reports to the Will County Board. Do we not already do that?
Yes, that's part of our, I think that's already part of the original plan, was it? I don't remember. No. All right. So you can make a, I mean, and truthfully, you guys can ask us to come back because that is part of your, an ordinance that you can ask for a report at any time too. So that is already, but I don't know, if I guess it is not in the plan. Okay, and I don't know if it specifies that in the last resolution, but you can absolutely ask for that anytime.
Well, I mean, that is what it says in the recommendation, so that's why I'm just curious as to why we're not voting on this, because that is the recommendation.
Why, okay, you want to explain why we're not? Yes, sir. Thank you.
So a few months ago, like you had said, County Executive, this county board did pass the Access Will County. I made an attempt to disassemble the ad hoc committee since that had taken place. The folks decided that that was not an option at that time because they wanted the ad hoc committee wanted to give a recommendation to the full board. This is what was discussed with Chair Butler and the chief of staff and myself. And this here on this agenda is that opportunity to give the recommendation. Everything should have been satisfied after that recommendation was given, in my opinion. So with all these other questions, I don't understand.
All right. I don't have an answer for you. Member Freeman on ad hoc. Again, I'm not really sure what we're having discussion on here. We're not voting on anything here, so yeah.
I appreciate Speaker Van Dyne's words because he took them right out of my mouth.
Okay.
That the committee did discuss the resolution that was on the agenda and it was amended and this is what was passed. And so, we are here today with the recommendation of the ad hoc, period. Thank you.
I think we're using a couple words here. So we are not voting on anything today. We're not, I'm seeing that we are not voting on anything today. If there are, and again, I'm not really sure the direction this was intended to go, if there were different conversations, but we have no vote on this. It doesn't mean that you guys can never come back and ask for specific things in regards to this, this item. Chair Gala. Or Member Gala.
Who am I now? Thank you. So you're right, Micah. The committee did bring forward a resolution. The resolution isn't here. And as the county executive mentioned, there is no policy. So while the county executive runs the program, we have to set the policy for what the program should actually be. And we have not done that yet. And that's something that we should do. I don't know if you do it through the executive committee or however Joe might decide, keep the ad hoc committee doing it, I don't know. But we do have to have a policy so that before we move to outside the area that we currently are, to areas that are served by some transportation system, we need to look and see if what we're doing now works, if it's efficient, where the deficiencies are, and how we pay to continue to grow. Because we have to worry about growing too fast. Granted, other places like Frankfurt Township, not Frankfurt's included, but New Lenox Township, they have their own ride service. So we need to look and see if we're going to grow and take over their ride service, there has to be an agreement with them. In addition to that, can we fund it? And if we can fund it, how do we fund it? Do we find a new funding source? Is there a funding mechanism we have available? So I think we need to look at what we're doing right now, that we've expanded to Southwest Will County, where there was absolutely no service at all. And now we do have service there. Give it 2 years, look at it. Give it a year and say, how have we improved? What problems have we found? Elaine is fabulous at documenting all that stuff for us. So I think that's what we need to look at. So we need to set a policy to say we will look at the program, evaluate it every 2 years and determine if it makes sense to move it forward or not. And when the county executive says it'll come to you to pay for it, it's true, and it's in the proposed budget. It's in the proposed budget, and I have not seen the budget actually change. So that budget line item has grown from what it was 2 years ago to last year to 3 years ago to 2 years ago to last year's budget. So we need to look at that, and we need to develop the right policy that we can all agree on. So there's still work to be done. How it's handled, whether it's handled through ad hoc or if the speaker chooses to handle it at executive, that's his choice to make.
Member Ortiz? Oh, sorry, I thought you were on. Well, I pressed you. Sorry.
Thank you, County Executive. Just a follow-up question. I know you said that, that this is a recommendation, we're not voting on anything. My question is then, how exactly do we take this recommendation and make it so that we are receiving quarterly reports? You said that we can come back and ask for that at any time. My question is, how do we do that? Do we go through a committee, executive committee? Do we need to write a resolution? Can you better explain that?
Yes. So first, you can ask her anytime, but second, yes, if you would like this part of a annual report or a quarterly report like we've done in the past, yeah, please seek leadership and they put it on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. Okay, moving on, you're on still, no, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appointments by county executive. So when I was in Minitrax earlier this week, providing this agenda on my own, I made a mistake and I have two resolutions that say 25-40. So starting with number one, I would like to change this resolution to 25-41. And then everything else will add an additional number from there. And I believe it's okay with the state's attorney to do so on the floor.
Making a motion to change numbers. We have a motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Ogala. Is there a previous by Trinier? Seconded by, do we have a clean roll? Did we have a clean one? Yeah. Seconded by Brooks, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Just to be more clear, under ad hoc ordinance review committee, that was listed as 25-40. And then when you move down to appointments by county executive, that also is 25-40. That was my mistake. So I will read resolution 25-41, approving county executive appointments for Jada. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Trinier. Previous roll call, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond.
No.
Williams. Dean Schlottman. Ogala.
No.
Pretzel.
No.
Butler. Newquist. Balich.
No.
Oxley. Brooks.
Yeah.
Winfrey. Bullock. No. Yes. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trinier.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
So number two is going to be resolution 25-42, approving county executive appointments to Moni Fire Protection District of Will County. I make that motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Trinier. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. No. All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman.
Yes.
Ogala.
Yes.
Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks.
Yeah.
Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trinier. Van Dyne.
Yes.
21 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Number three, 25-43, approving county executive appointments to the Rockdale Fire Protection District of Will County. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Dean Schlottman. Previous roll call by Butler, seconded by Ogala. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
25-44, approving county executive appointments to the Emergency Telephone System Board of Will County, and I make that motion.
Is there one or two names on this one?
Two names, ma'am?
And we're putting them together?
I motion to make them both, I make a motion to
Interesting.
approve both.
Okay. Motion by, okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there a previous? Previous by Dean Schlauman. We are on
Number 4.
4 on the agenda. I guess it'd be 41, 42, 43, 44. Yeah. I'm understanding, yeah. Second, okay. So all in favor outside, Mr. Pretzel abstaining. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations,
easier.
Mr. Pretzel.
You had it easier. I would have been meaner.
Number 5 is going to be Resolution 25-45, approving county executive appointments to the Merit Commission of Will County. I'll make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Revis. Previous roll call by Gala, seconded by Freeman. Would you like to be a yes on this one, sir? Ed Pretzel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 6, it's going to be Resolution 25-46, executive appointments to the Will County Stormwater Management Planning Committee, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Trinier, seconded by Hickey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last appointment, 25-47, approving county executive appointments to the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority, I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Trinier, seconded by Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do you have a comment? Yeah.
Just want to make sure we don't forget to go back to the Finance Committee report to be placed on file. I thought we were postponing that.
That was just a postponement in general, I think. Not to
Okay.
go, no,
Not
I
to
think
do it-
I think that was a.
Nobody
postponed-
gave a date,
I'm
so
Oh,
I wasn't sure what we were doing. There
Okay.
was no date. And I did do my research while we were sitting here. And the last time, well, at least that Minute Track could find one, we did this in June of 2024. And it was a unanimous vote, and the report basically looked exactly like the one we have on our agenda today with some slight tweaks in the number.
thank you.
That's all the difference there was. Same exact report.
Thank you. I'm going to make a recommendation on these appointments, though, however, especially since they are, public. 2 years ago, was made a decision to have these first go through the executive committee. It is not a necessity. It's kind of a moot point because these do always have to go to the county board. So again, I guess the thought behind that was to be able to have discussion then and kind of address the concerns then or let us know. But if that's not going to be the case, so I can notify people if we're going to have some concerns, please, leadership, please go back and consider that, how you want to handle that. But regardless, like I said, these votes have to go before the county board. Everyone could vote no, and we could still put them forward. I'm just saying I wouldn't do that to somebody. So just so you know, I would have a discussion of how you want to handle that in the future. So we're going on to public comment. Are there any public comments relative to matters under the jurisdiction of the county? Yep, you can come up. Thank you for, we have several people, okay. Should these, when you come up, please state your name if you will, please. And just a reminder, you have 3 minutes. Thank you for being patient. Hold on, there you go. There you are now.
I'm Wanda Alderson from Custer Park, and I'm here regarding the Acciona solar farm that was pulled. First of all, to any of you who have answered my questions, answered my emails, answered my phone calls, thank you so much for listening to us. Well, I'm really happy that that happened. There were a lot of unanswered questions in the applicant's preliminary application. And I have a lot of questions that were answered, I don't know, by board members that I spoke to. One example of that was there was a 33-acre parcel battery storage that was included in that, and it was not being addressed in that application. So I asked about the meeting of preliminary, and does that mean that you're just going to let them come in if you approved it at the board meeting and do whatever they want and bring that battery storage facility plant back in there? Nobody knew the answer to that question, and I have a real problem with that because 33 acres of battery storage for that facility, which was required for operations, was not being addressed. I know the Land Use Committee would not give me a building permit for my home if I had taken that application in there. And I don't know how it got here without those questions being answered or any board member being able to answer that. I think that this should have been looked at as individual parcels, not just the entire 3,600 acres. I don't think people were notified properly, and I think this board needs a committee to look at how to do this a little bit better for these 5,000 acre solar plants or wind plants that are being applied for. It wasn't fair to us as community members. One of the other things that I really think that was important was there was little to no consideration given to our groundwater, our shallow wells, the harm that this extraordinary heat that was going to be returned to the environment was going to do to us for 50 to 100 years. Nobody really looked at that or addressed that issue. And we believe that it should have been going back to land use. So at this point, what I'm asking for is that there are some resolutions passed or some committees or some policy formed by this county on how to address these issues for these that are coming to you in the future and coming across your desk. We didn't have satisfactory answers. There is a lot of counties that have passed resolutions with their state's attorney that are within the law that is on the books. Macoupin County, Ogle County, Boone County, just to name a few. And it's making it a little bit harder for these facilities to apply. And I'd ask that this board work with the state's attorney to try and do things that better protect your constituents. We as constituents are not against business coming to our area, but we're not talking about a little corner store. We're not talking about a car repair business. We're talking about ruining 3,600 acres of land. I know it's a moot point at this stage, but it may not be in the future. There was also a problem with regulation. I'd asked this question to many people. Who is going to oversee this project? If the screening vegetation that they plant died, who was going to ensure that they replanted it? There's no committee. There's no oversight. I don't know where this was going to come from, and nobody could answer that question for me. Where was their water going to come from in order to wash these panels? There was nothing in there about wells. None of it was put in there. There's no answers. I'd also ask that this board would look at our 1997 and the 2006 comprehensive zoning plans that were done by Custer Park. Again, we wouldn't necessarily be against business. This was a commercial facility. And our comprehensive zoning plans should be honored. And we should have the opportunity to change that. It was done with the Will County board members, and it was approved. But that wasn't even taken into consideration when this was brought to the floor. So I would ask that you guys consider looking at some of these things. I know that our community members who spent a lot of time doing research would be happy to share that information with you. And the last thing I'd like to address is I understand you not wanting to have the clerk read all of those comments into the public meeting. I understand the time. I didn't like being here this long today. But the important part to me about being able to submit a public comment is to make it part of the record. Because if this had gone to court, I would have liked my statements and all of the rest of our statements to be pulled in as witnesses, because we wouldn't be party to that lawsuit. So how do we protect that even though you don't read them? I sent a lot of emails that I don't have any answers to. So I have no proof that anybody read it. And not allowing it to be read into the public record doesn't help me do that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And we were way over 3 minutes, but I figured you guys you waited a long time here, but
I'll do my best not to be over 3 minutes. My name is Patricia Malcolm. I live in Custer Park. First and foremost, I want to thank the members of the board that responded to me. And I'm going to go off track a little bit with this amendment that you want to put, that you're not going to read stuff that somebody puts into public comment. When you send as many emails as I did, and I can grant you that none of mine were form. I did them individual to each board member. It's very disheartening when you don't even get one answer from several members. So first of all, I think that's a bad thing, and it's putting a bad light on you. Second of all, I would like you to consider how close somebody's commercial solar farm would be to someone's home, because it was really going to affect me. And thirdly, I would really appreciate it if you could adopt some language that if somebody wants to put a business next to somebody's property that has the ability to devalue it or damage it, that you talk to that homeowner or landowner or whatever. Because I can give you an example. We had property to sell and it didn't have 320 feet of road frontage. And we had to spend several $1,000s for an attorney to write letters to all of our neighbors so we could sell that property. So if you can do that for that, why can't you let me know if somebody's going to infringe on my space? So with that, thank you very much.
thank you. You can come up.
I think I'm the last one. Hi, thanks for sticking around. My name is Lynn.
No, thank you. They have to stay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
Yep.
so much for allowing me to speak. Again, my name is Lynn Vermillion. I'm from your neighbor, Grundy County, but I wanted to stop in here today because I represent, sorry, that's right in my eyes there. I represent Senator Chris Balkema, who is newly elected in November to be the District 53 senator. He takes over for Senator Tom Bennett, who retired, okay? And after sitting here, what I can tell you is that I have all these things to talk about, but I'm going to really be respectful of your time. Big thing I'm hearing is something that Chris has experienced. Chris was on the county board in Grundy County. We did have the land use arguments. You as board members are caught between the state and your constituents, okay? And so that is one of the very first bills that Chris brought forward has to do with land use for solar and wind energy. And I'd like to share that plan with you at a later date when you have more time. But let me just back up a little, just to give you a little bit of history. District 53 has like 216,000 members in it, and there's about 108 towns. I've been to towns with a population of 540, and I've been to towns with 100, 200,000. Doesn't matter the size of your district. It matters that every single person feels like that they've been heard. And that's what I heard a lot here today as well. Everybody wants to feel heard. So what I'm here today is just to make introductions, leave you contact information, my number, Chris's number, so you can reach out, and to let you know, again, his committees are agriculture, Grundy's agriculture. We don't want to take up a lot of our space with energies, but you need energy, so you're walking that line. Agriculture, appropriation and education, behavior and mental health, labor, pensions, and revenue. Of course, reducing the cost of living in Illinois and attracting businesses to your district because you need that revenue to keep the taxes down. So again, Chris just wants you to reach out to him with any concerns you have. Again, in my packet, I have some more information on how Grundy went through a checklist on how to make sure, you can't say no, you can't say no. But how can you make it so that you can live with what is going to happen in your county? I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
And if you want to leave with the county board staff, the kind of the checklist or format, you can feel free to do that.
Wonderful, thank you.
What her boss is proposing. on
With
this.
that, well, yeah, I was to say, do you have a bill number on that?
It's up
Is-
for the second reading, so it's not out there yet.
But it would have a bill, if it's in second reading, it would have a bill number.
Yep.
Yep.
Of course, I didn't bring that up there with.
Can you give us the bill number and we'll make, if you can give us the bill number, yeah, we'll make sure you get that.
Absolutely, I will. And again, I will leave this.
Leave that with staff and we'll make sure that the county board all has copies of that as well. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have executive session today, so, but we are moving on to comments. Comments by the county board. Anyone have anything compelling they need to share? Anything? Okay. Any leaders? Anything we have to add today? All right, no? All right, and then Speaker Van Dyne.
Yeah, thank you once again. The comment that I would like to make this afternoon is, we do have 8 standing committees, and I just want to reiterate that I think that is the opportunity to show up to the meetings and to get your questions answered. And if they can't get the answers to you at that committee, there's always a couple weeks before we show up to the full board. I think we went off the rails a little bit today with some of the items that I believe that could have been cleared up. And I'm going to make a habit of coming to both caucuses so we can hash these out. I know there's only a couple days before, between the caucus and the full board, but that was kind of the purpose to find out if there are any issues, because I would absolutely love to clean them up in the process of the first couple weeks of the month so we can have a smooth board meeting. Also, it'll also help, have our board have the consensus of what the board is actually looking for. I don't feel like it should be one party jamming something down to the other party. I know it does happen, at some point, but I'd really like to try to negotiate and try to make the majority of the board happy. And the only way to do that is communication. So I'm open to communication. I want to work with both leaders to find out where their caucuses are at and take everybody's advice under consideration. So maybe we can, as a board, we can do a little bit better job of communicating. I would really appreciate that. And that's, I hope everybody enjoys executive session as much as I will. So thank you.
All right, at this time, I'll need a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending legislation.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, second by Freeman. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. I'm sorry, labor negotiation, sorry, labor contract negotiation.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman. Ogella. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Balich. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne.
Okay, we are now in exec. Okay, we're back. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Richmond. Williams. Dean Schlottman is gone. Ogella. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Oxley. Brooks. Winfrey. Bullock. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Hickey. Costa. Trainier. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Team members. We are now out of closed session.
Speaker Van Dyne.
Madam Executive, I would like to make a motion to give the authority to council as discussed by this board in executive session.
There's a motion by Van Dyne, second by Winfrey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, I need a motion to recess to March 20th, 2025. Motion by Freeman, seconded by Hickey. All in favor? Any opposed? We will see you all March 20th.